All right now, for all you cool cats, all you arrow twirlers with an eye on the X, we have a special evening for you. Guided by Wilderness Archery's own John Scar and Elliot Peters, it's Archery After Hours, where the bow rests and the night continues.
Ahoy and good evening, everyone. We are coming to you from Studio C, deep within the bowels of the Wilderness Archery Communications Compound. Tonight, we're joined by Trail Kreitzer.
You forgot the fucking
I messed it up.
Oh my God, you just went over this.
I'm like, there's no chance he's going to get this. It never happens, ever.
Dude, you got target panic on the word.
I know. I got target panic on the word.
Oh my gosh.
Got me. I was thinking. I didn't want to have too much of a pause there, and I rushed.
So funny.
Trail Kreitzer.
The trigger.
Trail, go ahead and introduce yourself. Give us a little background on you.
Yeah, Trail Kreitzer. I work over at GOHUNT, so I've been there about 11 years. I do content, so mostly video, and then podcasts. So I do the Big Hunt Guys podcast, and I have my own podcast, which is the Game Trail.
Love it.
I mean, what do you want to know? I live in Southern Utah, so born and raised in Southern Utah. Grew up in this tiny little town. Like my closest neighbor was a mile. I went to a 2-room schoolhouse. I had one kid in my class, which is kind of a funny thing given the fact of, I'm at a mic or in front of a video camera now, which I never ever would have thought would have been the case. But just diehard bow hunter. Married, 3 kids. My oldest is 20. I got a 16-year-old and a 13-year-old. Yep. So that's about it. I love to shoot my bow. That's it. Just if I could shoot my bow every day, all day. That's what I was telling my wife the other day. She was like, your job, it's kind of stressful, and it is for me. Like some people, it's probably not, right? But like being at a mic for me is kind of a stretch. And I was like, I just need to figure out somebody or some way to get paid to just shoot my bow, but still suck, because I'm never going to be good enough to like actually make a living.
Yeah,
if you can suck, if you can suck and shoot your bow for 8 hours a day, and then I don't have to do any content along with that.
Ooh, that's the kicker.
Yeah, that's the kicker. So if I could get paid to do that, that'd be the dream job. But I just like shooting my bow.
So I probed Trail a little bit because we talked some at the TAC in Utah there, and he basically I don't know it verbatim, but he's basically like, dude, I'm kind of like a closet target archer. Like I like watching this shit and I follow it pretty closely. And I was like, no kidding. Because I don't know. I feel like you don't hear that a whole lot from like somebody as deep in the hunting side of things as you are, but I thought that might be a good, I know you've been dabbling in shooting. You shot Vegas last year for the first time. Dude, before I keep going, can we talk at some point about the experience you had at Full Draw, dude?
For sure. Yeah.
Oh my God, John, you're gonna shit when you hear this. But
anyway, we can run through my first Vegas experience.
Oh, let's do that
anytime you want to. It was quite it was a comedy. It was kind of funny.
I hope it didn't deter you from doing it again.
No,
I'm going another go.
I'll be back. Yeah, for sure.
Good.
It was a good time.
Yeah, I thought that was cool that you went and like just threw your hat in the ringer and saw how it all shook out, and you're going back again. Are you gonna still shoot bow hunter freestyle, you think?
I don't know. I mean, you sent me a lens, so cheers for that.
Yeah.
Haven't shot a lens. Probably haven't really even played with it in probably 10 years or something. I had one at one point and put it in, and I remember thinking like, I don't know, maybe I just feel like a little too anxious because I can see too well at this point, right? So it's been a long time since I dabbled with it. I've got a target set up, so I've got the full setup sitting here in the corner. I've got the true ball, everything, and the Excel sight. So I've got the Achieve sight, the XP. I've got the Shrewd scope. I've got the lens now. Yeah, I got a Title 38. I've got bars. So I've got some Bee Stinger bars, and I've got a Hamsky rest on it. And so I've got everything. And I think I told you earlier, like I throughout this, experiment, like I'll throw on long bars and some weights and I'll tinker with it. And then I
Yeah.
just like chicken shit out. Right. And I'm like, yeah, this is too uncomfortable. I'm sucking too bad. And, I don't want to do that. And I don't want to build bad habits. So I like pull the bars off and then I go back to bow hunter freestyle. So, right now I'm just shooting bow hunter freestyle, but you never know. I mean,
No, that's cool. That's cool.
I might try it.
Yeah. I cut my teeth in bow hunter freestyle for
Yeah.
a few years, and it was a lot of damn fun, but everybody kind of started, they'd have a good run and then they would bump up to freestyle.
Yeah.
And, that's just where all the competition ended up. So that's
Yep.
where I ended up, but it was a fun class. I hope that modern bow hunter class takes off. I think that could be good.
It'll be interesting to see. I know, like a local, we have those like rodeo arena shoots, in Utah. So in the winter, they'll have the indoor rodeo arena 3Ds, and they just had one. I didn't get to go to it, but I saw that bow hunter freestyle class had by far the most entrance. It was like the regular bow hunter class was like none.
Oh,
And
really?
then, yeah, there were not that many. Like everybody kind of bumped up, which I think that's like what most people are shooting at, right? Is
Yeah.
like probably a 15-inch bar with slider sight and pen set up, so it makes the most
Yep.
sense, I think, for people to bump up to it.
Yeah, having like a 12-inch front bar maximum sucked. You
Yeah.
couldn't have like a quick disconnect. You had to run a 10-inch bar
Mhm.
if you wanted any kind of weights on there. I used to make weights out of 2-inch brass solid rod, and I would turn them down on a lathe just so I could have diameter
Yeah.
and not stick out too far and
Yep.
break out. It was just stupid. So I think they moved it to 18 inches, if I'm not sure. So you could run like a 15-inch
Mhm.
bar with a stack of weight. And see
Yeah.
ya, John. What happened? Oh, you stood up because you're not wearing any freaking pants. That's exactly what happened.
I heard his dog bark, so maybe he had to
Yep.
bounce to deal
He
with
took
that.
off and he's not wearing pants. He told me already.
It happens.
Fucking guy.
Yeah, I remember the old bee stinger discs, right? So
Yeah, the big discs.
Yeah, the big discs for bow hunter freestyle. Everybody was
Yep.
shooting those back in the day.
That's what that was for.
Yeah, you had them in like 4/8s and 12s, I remember,
Mhm.
and that was all the rage back when I shot, a bit more competitively. I would do all those rodeo arena shoots, but
Yeah.
yeah, been a hot minute since I like really, went to a competition.
Yeah. Have you ever shot like a safari style shoot with orange dots?
I mean the rodeo arena ones here, those are orange dots. So you shoot a 2 arrow, 11 score, so 11
Okay.
per arrow.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the format that they shoot up here in these rodeo arena
Okay.
circuits, I guess. And they usually have probably 5 or 6, I would say, like each winter. But they're
Okay.
all indoor. They're all like indoor rodeo arenas, and they're it's just like a J style line. And then, you're shooting arrows kind of crossways and it's flat, right? So you don't get really angled shoots or anything like that.
Yeah. Well, cool. Have you ever
Sorry
thought
about that.
You're
You
good.
took off without pants, didn't you?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
yeah. Either
Yeah.
way, the Amazon guy just came by and knocked on the door and dropped off a package, and the dogs went nuts. It's 8:45. What are you doing?
Mhm.
So
Dropping off your pants.
yeah, they came flying off. I have no idea where they went.
Have you shot the Redding shoot?
I've never
before?
shot Redding. It's
No,
always
have you
been
ever
on
thought
the
about it?
Oh, for sure. Every year I
Yeah.
think about it, but it's so it's May, right?
Yeah,
And
first weekend of May.
first weekend in May. And since I took this job, kind of started down this path, I get so busy in the springtime because we just get so stacked up with application season.
Oh yeah.
It just gets really busy. In part, probably half of my job, I write these application strategy articles, which just take a ton of time and research to put together. And it just feels like every year, the first part of May, I always just get bogged down with work. And then this last year, I was thinking about going, but then we got an invite to go to New Zealand and hunt tar.
Yeah.
And so that one, I was like, yeah, I'm going to go do that.
Yeah,
Dude, yeah. So
absolutely.
I don't know. I think I might have told you, John. I don't know who showed me this, but in your guys' tar hunting video, you're sitting in your tent listening to Archery Unfiltered, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
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 Yeah, you
I
showed me
downloaded-
that. That was awesome.
I
Yeah.
downloaded a bunch of episodes to have something to listen to because I figured we were going to get reined in, and like we did. I mean, I think we were in there for 10 days and hunted a day and a half. It's like we spent a lot of time.
Oh
in the
my
tent.
God.
Yeah.
Wow.
Holy shit.
Yep.
Dude, what tent were you running? I bet it wasn't big enough.
Hilleberg, but it was not big enough. It was a Enon, so just
Yeah.
a single person tent with a vestibule. Yeah, it was
Oh,
rough. Some
shoot.
really long days. Watched every movie we downloaded. I bet I listened to every podcast I had 2 or 3 times. It was some long days.
Jesus.
Yeah.
I have yet to have a hunt like that where I've been just hunkered down that long.
I've had a couple. So I did that one, and then, one time we went to Alaska and hunted caribou, and we had some intermittent days of rain, but then it just, like there was 4 of us in camp, and the pilot came in. He had, like, a little window, and he came in, and we were like, "Great, we're gonna get out." We'd all killed caribou, and, he's like, "I got room for 2 people." He's like, "That's all I've got right now for weight limit," and so, the camera guy and one of the other guys, we were like, "Yeah, go ahead and go. We'll stay here." And he's like, "Yeah, I'll be back to get you like day and a half, 2 days at max." So I think we stayed 3 more days, and then he came back and landed again. And he's like, "I got bad news. I can only take one of you with my weight limit of what I've got." And so me and my buddy just did rock, paper, scissors, and I lost. And so I stayed there
Oh.
for another 3 days.
So an
Wow.
extra week after having already killed
Yeah,
your caribou.
yeah,
Oh,
all tagged out. I think all in all, I was in there 15 days. But yeah, we were completely tagged out, and I just ended up sitting in my tent or just like going out and glassing caribou when we get little windows of like clear. I could go out and
just
look.
for
But
fun.
yeah, dude, and I ran out of food. Like I was eating caribou
No
by the
kidding.
end. Yeah, by the end of that hunt, like I had one fuel canister that I had maybe just like a little bit left. And I was like, I'm just going to cook a whole backstrap so that at least I've got some backstrap to eat if I end up being here for another 2 or 3 days. So I cooked the whole backstrap, kind of stockpile it away. And then, I think I ate most of it, but he came in and finally got me. But
Jesus.
yeah, that's a funny story. Actually, to me, one of the funniest parts of that whole story is like he comes in and it's like cloudy day. I mean, it's like socked in, and I was like, "There's no way he's getting me on or get me out." And he came in, and I could hear him flying, and he just like flew around this little knoll, and he like stirred up the clouds and stuff enough that he could like see the runway. And he came in and he landed. And as soon as he landed, I got all my gear and everything, threw it in the plane, and all the clouds kind of suck back in. And it's like we're just basically sitting in a cloud again. And we're like sitting in the front part of his plane, and we're just like sitting there, and I don't know what to do. And he's just like sitting there, and he's kind of, looking at his GPS and stuff. And finally he looks over at me and he's like, "Well," he's like, "you might have to set that tent up again." He's like, we might just be here for a little while, like at least another day." And I was like, "Oh shit, really?" And this is like the
Oh,
last thing I wanted to do.
oh yeah.
And so we sit there for a minute, and he's like, "Well, let's just see what happens." So we sit there for probably like another half hour, and it's just like socked in. And then finally he looks over at me and he goes, "I think I can fly out with the GPS." He's like, "How do you feel about it?" And I was like,
Get me the hell out of here.
"Fuck, I don't know. You're the pilot." I'm
Yeah.
like, I don't know. How do you feel about it? And he's like, "I think I can do it." And I was like, "Okay, let's do it." And he's like, "All right, well, let's go for it." And so we just like took off. And he's
Flying.
flying basically blind with his GPS, and we just like hugged the valley there, and he got into it and got me out. But yeah, it was like I was like, "Well, I guess, yeah, let's go."
Gnarly.
Yeah, yeah,
Big
pretty wild.
big mountains all around, I imagine, kind of like you
Yeah,
said, you're down in the valley. So he's trying
yeah,
to have to navigate through that. That's pretty cool.
yep,
Jesus.
yep. He just was looking at his GPS unit, and he was just basically following the valleys, because he's like, "I know as long as I follow those out, we'll be okay. I'm not going to run into a peak." So we flew out basically blind for probably 35, 40 minutes until we finally hit some
Whew.
clear, and then, flew into town and landed. But by that point, I was just like, "Yeah, get me out. I'm good. Let's go." Yeah.
How long was the flight?
I want to say it was probably maybe an hour, somewhere in that neighborhood.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Yeah. Not too crazy.
How many
But,
times have you been to Alaska?
so I've been up there and hunted caribou once. I've been up and hunted Kodiak Island a couple times for blacktail, and then I've been up there and hunted black bear once, and then I've hunted moose once. So five
Damn.
times, I guess, something like
Jeez.
that. Yeah.
When you were hunting caribou specifically,
Mhm.
was there is it grizzly country where you were at?
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, and we were lucky in that we didn't really see any like in and around camp, but we did see one across the valley. We'd see him almost every day. And then the first day that we killed a couple of bulls, we had to go back the next day to get the other half of the caribou, and there had already been a big grizzly that had claimed the one carcass. Like we'd hauled all the meat away from the carcass, but
Mm-hmm.
we sat down there and put the spotting scope on it, and it was just a giant mound. Like the amount of earth that this bear had moved, I could not believe it. I was just like, holy
You're
shit.
kidding.
No, I mean, dug up a great big donut around this carcass and just basically piled all this stuff up on it. And he was just laying kind of off to the side. Yeah,
Terrifying.
pretty gnarly.
Son of a bitch.
Yeah, I got a bear story if you want a bear story. Do you want a bear story?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I went up there and hunted moose, and it was just a buddy and I kind of put together a DIY hunt, and he's from Fairbanks. And he had this spot that he thought would be good. He kind of heard from another buddy, like third hand, that, hey, this is a good spot. You guys will do well in there. So he had a jet boat and he had a motor for it. And so we air carvered it up to this little tiny town. And then we flew into the town, rented a vehicle from a native Alaskan guy. And we took the boat down to the river and just pumped it up, put the motor on it, put some gas in it. And we took off and we went up like probably 45, 50 miles up the river.
Jesus.
And we're so stoked the first day because like we're just excited. We're new to the area. Like, you know, my first
Big
moose
adventure.
hunt. Yeah, huge. Yeah, I mean, you're seeing like bald eagles nested on the side of the river, and we saw a moose on the way in, and we go up the river and we find this little inlet, and we're like so excited. We just kind of rope the boat off, anchor it out, and we're just going to hit this ridge. We've got probably 3 or 4 hours of light left. And so we just cruise up the top, hit the ridge, and we go all the way back. And we're like sitting on this little knoll. And I look back into the saddle and I see this big bull moose. And he's bedded in this saddle. And he's probably like 65-ish wide, great bull, like an absolute hammer, no brainer. And he's got his head laid over. And like every time he lays his head over to sleep, it's basically like covering his whole eye and everything with his paddle. And I'm like, I'm going. So I take my bow and I take off, and my buddy's kind of keeping up with me. And I get over there and I crawl up on it, and I'm like crawling up. And at one point I range him and he's like 45 yards. He's still bedded.
Damn.
And he's still got his paddle down, and I'm like kind of quartering, back from him, and he's got his whole body between me and him. And I'm like, oh, I'm going to, I fall in love with this idea. Like I'm going to crawl up and shoot this thing at like 5 feet. This could be so epic, right? So I'm like crawling through the grass, army crawling, and I get to like 30 yards. And all of a sudden he just like stands up, and he's facing dead away from me. And I can't, I'm not going to take a Texas hard shot. Anyway, he just trots like dead away from me. So like just as easy as it all come together, like it completely dissipates and he's gone. And I look up the ridge. I'm like trying to figure out what happened. I look up the ridge and I see this big grizzly bear. He's like kind of coming down the ridge. And I was like, oh, he's winded that grizzly bear and took off, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I've dropped my pack, and now my pack is between the hill and the bear. The bear's between us, right?
Oh, shit.
And so I turn around and I look back at my buddy. He's probably 300 yards below me, and I motion for him, and I'm like kind of panicked. I'm like, hey, get your ass up here. And he comes trotting up. He gets up there, and I was like, hey, there's a big grizzly right here. I was like, we got to get our packs. He's got a rifle, thank God.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, well, what do you want to do? And I'm like, I think we ought to circle up above that bear, get up above it, and let it catch our wind. And hopefully it catches our wind and blows out. And so we make this big loop. We come up above the bear, and we're kind of up above it, and I can see it down in the alder, and he's probably like 200 yards below us. Anyway, we watch him catch our wind and stands up. And like, I don't know, dude, a grizzly bear, just a big bear, they stand up on their hind legs and they're just like looking at you. I was like, oh shit, my heart's pounding.
Yeah.
And he goes back down on his feet, and he kind of starts walking towards us. And it looks kind of like it's just walking towards us like out of curiosity, like doesn't really know what we are. He gets to like maybe 100 yards and pauses, and he kind of paces back and forth, and he's just kind of side profile looking at us. And then he like turns and he keeps coming, and he gets to like 70 or 80 yards. And at that point, like I'm starting to feel pretty uncomfortable. And I don't have anything about my bow. Sure? Yeah. I'm just like standing behind my buddy with my bow. And then he starts like loping towards us. He's like kind of trotting, not full tilt, but he's like trotting towards us.
Uh-huh.
Dude, he gets to like 50 yards and full tilt, like ears pinned. I mean,
oh no.
Hauling ass. Coming straight at us. And at that point, I'm screaming like a little girl. I'm just like, hey, bear, I'm freaking out. And so my buddy, somewhere between like the lope and then the full charge, he had like had the wherewithal to like sit down and get a rest on his knees. Anyway, so that bear came all the way in, and he shoots it at like 15 feet.
Oh, no way.
I mean, full tilt, ears pinned, the whole nine. Hits it just inside the shoulder, and it wheels, and it starts running towards the alder. And I was like, "Shoot again!" I'm like, "I'm not going to that alder for a bear, you know."
Yeah.
Anyway, so he shoots it again, and ends up shooting it 3 times, and he's shooting a 300 Win Mag. So ends up
Ooh,
shooting it
yeah.
3 times from like, 15 feet to 80 yards. Anyway, it finally dies and rolls, and it's like laying there right below us. And I'm just like, I'm like so scared I can't speak. Like I've only had that a few times in my life, but like
Yeah.
I can't find words. I'm like scared.
Right.
The adrenaline is just pounding. Anyway, my buddy Steve, my favorite part of this is like he rolls over on all fours and just pukes. He's
Oh,
just
shit.
like, "Whoa." Yeah, just loses it.
Oh, wow.
Oh man,
Just loses
I
it.
can't even imagine. That
Yeah.
is like the level of stress.
Yeah.
I've been in a situation with a moose actually
Mhm.
where I lost all my ability to like utter any words or speak. I was riding down a trail and I was looking sideways down the hill, and I look up and the trail has now turned into black.
Oh, wow.
And
Mhm.
and so I slam on the brakes, and there's a cow moose that has stepped out in front of me. And I mean, like all I had to do was reach over and touch it. Like it
That
happened so
close.
fast. And I kind of look up to the right because I'm going this way and she came out this way. And I look up to the right and I'm just like, and
Yeah.
and my brain literally went through my brain. I was like, oh, hey, this is how I go. Like,
The
and then
mad moose.
she turns and looks at me like with her eye, side eye, goes like that. And she does the most goofy little like, and then like trots off down the road. I was like,
It's like, holy
and then
shit,
like
that's John.
yeah, I've seen that guy. Is that the same one that ran me down the hill? I thought earlier in the day, I thought I was chasing a deer through the trees.
Mm.
Now I know I was making the stupidest decision I've ever made in my
Yeah.
life because it was a moose.
Yeah,
And because it
they're
was,
gnarly. Moose
Yeah.
are gnarly. Yeah, you
Yeah,
don't
that
Me
was-
and my cousin almost hit some in Wyoming, flying home in the
Mm.
middle of the night on snowmobiles. Just almost had to stay the night out on the hill. It was freaking avalanche all weekend, like avalanche warnings were through the roof. And we were like, God, let's get out of here. And we got out of there late and we were hauling ass back to the truck. And we freaking locked them up, turned it sideways, and damn near went under a goddamn moose. They're so
Oh, no.
So
so,
big.
so now you have a dead bear. What do you do?
Oh, yeah. So we he's an Alaskan resident, so he'd bought a bear
Oh, good.
tag. So I mean, this is the first evening. Like in my mind, I'm like, we're here for the next 14 days. Like, how many bears are we going to kill? Because we don't even have a dead bull moose yet to like bait
Yeah.
one in yet, right?
Right.
So and then I'm completely on edge. But we cape it out, cape the whole thing, take the skull, and he cleaned it all out, and he ended up tagging it. But then we killed 2 bull moose, and we had this whole adventure, and we got back into town, and we'd rented a place for a night. And what we were going to do is like, pull all the meat off the bone and kind of put it in containers so that we could ship it. So we were doing that all day. And one time I look out and there's a state trooper, and he's like pulled in, kind of wedged our rental vehicle in behind us. And I was like, oh shit, he wants to, check licenses, which is fine. So
Yeah.
he comes in and just visits with us a little bit. Doesn't even check our moose license, but he's like, he's funny enough. He was like, I guess the town that we were in is a dry town. Like no alcohol, right?
Oh.
In and out. And he goes, yeah, I heard locally that there was a couple of white guys that were staying in town. And he's like, I'd heard that there's these Russian guys that are running liquor into town and kind of selling it, and they're not supposed to be. So he's like, I came to check you guys, but you guys, you're clearly not Russian. And I was like,
German.
Yeah, German. And anyway, he asked us, we tell him we shot this bear, and he's like, well, what do you want to do? And my buddy says, well, I tagged it. And he says, well, if you want to do a defense of life or property, we can do that as well. And he's like, no, I'm fine tagging it. But we asked him, how often does this happen? And I think he said that year, that was like the 6th one that would have been a defense of life or property that month.
No way.
Whoa.
Yeah. So
That's
See, I'm
insane.
never gonna get to go to Alaska.
more common than maybe we hear about. I don't know.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
I know you opened up with you want to hear a bear story, but then when you said let's go up top and have them wind us, I was like, my brain goes, that's a grizzly. Like that.
Yeah.
That's like he's gonna think, hey, dinner came to me. Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, that bear, its nose was completely broken, like totally busted. You could grab that bear's nose and just like move it all
Really?
around. Yeah, oh yeah. Teeth completely jacked up. Old bear, like old bear. And the
Did
only
he
thing I
age
could,
it?
I don't know that we did. I'd have to ask Steve if he ever aged it, but I just remember thinking, like, after the fact, I'm like, I guarantee you that bear was just hungry. It's like, I don't care what that is. Like, I'm gonna go attack it and try
Yeah.
to eat it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Damn.
yeah. Pretty wild. One of the more intense moments I've had in the woods.
I don't know, man. I think I'll probably just watch Alaska hunts. It sounds like.
You should go. You'd love it.
Oh, I know I would.
Yeah.
The few people I've talked to that have gone are like, now their whole thing is, how do I get back? Yeah,
Mhm.
you know. A
Yeah.
buddy of mine, Jason, went up there. He met a guy who just got a tract of land to guide doll sheep on or whatever. Dude, I want to think he did a doll sheep hunt for like 14 grand or some shit.
Well,
Like first year this guy was doing it, and he went up there and shot one, and immediately booked like 4 years out his next one, and I think he just went back like a year or two ago or whatever. But he's like, he's all about Alaska now, everything
yeah.
Alaska.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
incredible. You
Our
get it.
shop owner went and did a brown bear hunt
Oh
up
yeah,
there. Yeah. And it's same thing. It sounds like any way to get back there and figure out how to go hunt there again.
You get like such a sense of like how small you are on this planet.
oh I bet,
Like, you get out there on that open tundra and you're 80 or 90 miles flown in and you're the only people out there, and, you know, you see the northern lights, or you get up in the morning, you just look out across this landscape that just goes on forever, and you're like, "Man, I'm the only person out here." You feel so small,
yeah,
and I don't mean that in a bad way, I mean it in a good way. Like, you get
yeah.
Mhm.
yeah, you get a real sense of, like, "Man, there's, like, so much out here," and
That
then
changed your whole perspective on
oh,
life, I
for
bet.
sure, for sure. Yeah, and
Yeah,
it's been that way every time I've gone up there. I mean, Kodiak is just a wild island. I mean, you get out onto that island and, you know, you've got brown bears and deer and you've got goats up top, and like you're hiking for hours to get up into that alpine to hunt those deer. But you get up and you can like you have these incredible ocean views. And I remember, this is just another side story, but we were staying on a boat, and then the guy would run us in on a raft basically, and would drop us off in the morning. We'd hike up and hunt deer, and then we'd come back after dark, and he'd meet us. But we had this big adventure one day. We killed 3 deer, worst pack out of my entire life, in a complete
no kidding.
yeah,
Oh
complete
shit.
complete snowstorm, like sideways. Nobody had bothered to GPS our way going up, so coming back out, we were just trying to make our way down through, and you get into like an alder patch that was, you know, 200 yards long, and you'd be in that thing for like 3 hours, just like
Yep.
trying to fight it. But terrible pack out. But we hit the beach at like 3:15 in the morning, and we get there and it's kind of let up, and we get into the boat and we're going out to the, you know, the main boat where we're staying. And I remember we're like cruising out, and like you just had just enough light that you could kind of see the surface of the ocean, and this pod of killer whales is kind of breaching in and
No
around
way.
us. And it was just like the coolest, I mean, a little scary, but also just like one of the coolest experience. Like this pod of killer
Yep.
whales in the moonlight, you know, just beat tired from that day. It was just like, I'll never forget that moment.
No, I bet not.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
put in all this hard work, and then it's like these little moments that
Mm.
show up, and it's just like, obviously you're never going to forget that. It's something that, you know, stands with you forever. And it's like,
Yep.
those moments are so far and few, and, you know, just the opportunity that we have as hunters and outdoorsmen to experience things like that. It's just, you know, everyone's got their story like that, but it's always, you know, oh man, it
Yeah.
was the worst pack out
Yeah.
of my life. And
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
it's like it's just the cherry, you know.
The
Yeah,
one
you
it's the
put
one
all
you end up
this.
talking about the most
Yeah.
in the
Yeah,
end.
Type 2 fun.
Yeah. That is
exactly.
such a real freaking thing, man.
Yeah, man. That's my favorite thing about hunting, to be honest, is like, I don't know if you think back over your life. I'm 46, and I think back over it, and there's like these little like moments that are just so visceral and so real. And
Mhm.
most of those are tied to some hunt that I've been on. And like I can go back to that moment, and Like I could tell you what it smelled like. I can remember like it was like time
Yep.
stopped, you know?
Yep.
Mhm.
And I just think those are so rare and like so special. And I've had so many of them in the outdoors and hunting. Like I gravitate toward it. I just love it.
Yep.
Yep.
Are you are you a solo guy
Yeah. I mean, if
primarily?
yeah, I
Would you
mean
say?
yeah,
Well, you guys
I
are
would
filming now. I guess you probably have to have a cameraman or
yeah.
something like that.
Yeah, so I do have a camera guy quite a bit. My very favorite hunts, and like if it were up to me, like I would go solo, and I like 8 to 10 days, like backpack style hunt, live off my back, and go solo. And
Yeah.
I'm to be completely honest, like that's as good as a hunter as I can be because I make all my best animals are all hunting solo, on my own, and the reason behind it is because you push your boundaries, you push your limits, but then you're making all the decisions. So there's no
Yep.
hesitation whatsoever.
You're
So
not
like
bouncing anything off of anybody.
yeah, you evaluate a stock or a calling setup with a bull elk. There's no hesitation. There's no like turn to your buddy and say, "Hey, what do you think?" And he's like, "Shit,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. We should go up here." And I'm like, "I don't know. I really think I should probably go there." So
Uh-huh.
there's like none of that. There's no hesitation. And sometimes it doesn't work, but I think a lot of the time it's made me a better hunter because I've had to like make those decisions on my own. And then the other thing I like about it is I'm kind of a loner anyway. Like I don't have many buddies. I shoot my bow alone. I got a dog. I'm like an admitted loner. Like not many friends at all. And like some people hate solitude of like hunting alone, but like I love it. Like I come
Yeah.
back from it completely rejuvenated for life. I've worked through all my demons while I'm out there, and I've hopefully tried to alleviate a lot of those before I left because that shit'll eat you up when you're out there.
Fuck.
But
Yeah.
yeah, and I come home from it with like a different appreciation for just the smallest things. And I've worked that out on my own. But yeah, and then I love the satisfaction of like doing it on your own. There's like a
That
different
is
set.
it's so gratifying,
Hmm.
you
For
know?
sure. Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
I've grown to, I've never done a hunt that long, but I've done a share of solo hunts as of late, like say the last 4 years or whatever have been all the animals I've killed in the last couple years have been on solo hunts.
Yep.
Um, and dude, it is such an accomplishment, when it all pans out. And even when it doesn't, like,
Hmm.
dude, when you just see, uh, I don't know. I saw a pack of coyotes chasing down some quail and some manzanita once, and just to sit and observe
Yeah,
was so damn cool.
for sure.
It was something
Hmm.
not a lot of people get to see, and it's not even a big deal, but it was something I just enjoyed the shit out of. And it was like, man, nobody's back here.
Hmm.
This place is running as if I am non-existent.
Yep.
And to watch it that way, you can see cool stuff going. Me and my family went to Yellowstone and stuff, and you see things, and it's very cool. But it's not the uninterrupted experience, like
Yep.
it is when you're hunting or something like that. And that is pretty
Yeah.
special.
Yeah. I like those solo trips, those conversations you have with yourself at night when you crawl into your tent. You've got maybe a half hour, an hour before you're going to fall asleep. And you're just laying there, having conversations with yourself, kind of working through your life and where you're at. And I love that stuff. I think it's
No,
great.
it's awesome.
Yeah.
What do you do anything? I mean, dude, you've had some time to sit in a tent and
Mhm.
stare at the stitching. Do you write like a journal or anything? Or I've thought about bringing a notepad or something and just
Mhm.
jotting shit down. It'd be cool to go over in 20 years, I feel like, but I just haven't done it.
Yeah. I think about it. Sometimes I'll make notes in my phone, like day by day, what happened, just random thoughts and stuff. But I've never like packed in a journal. I always think about it. I always think that
Yeah,
I should. I'm not very good at it.
yeah.
Um, yeah. The other thing, I like my favorite thing is like day 3. So day 1 and 2, you're like trying to figure it out, but you're still somewhat connected and like in the same mindset that you came from. So like your job, your family, like
Hmm.
you still feel this like certain sense of like stress and anxiety. And then by day 3, I've kind of like forgot all that and I become so solely focused on what I'm trying to do. It's just like that's all I think about. Like
Yeah,
I'm literally just thinking about surviving and killing an animal.
yeah.
And
There's like a
I
cam over point.
yeah, I love that feeling. It's like I crave it every year. Yeah.
Have you been doing it this way for a long time? Like like
Mhm.
you said, you got kids and everything, but they're a little bit older. I can't go for a hell of a long time just for that reason. It's too
Yeah.
hard on everybody. Even me, I feel so much freaking guilt sometimes when I'm back there when I could be at a baseball game or something.
Mhm.
And they get it. They're like, this is deer season. I've only got X amount of weekends or whatever, but it is, it's a guilt trip at
Yeah.
times.
I started doing these in probably like '01, I guess.
Okay.
So, yeah, I remember the first one I ever did was like a high country mule deer hunt. And I just went solo and bivvied out and hunted for I started out with just like a night or two at a time.
Yeah.
And then I would do like 3 nights and then 5, and then I kinda leaked into where I would do, a few more, like a week if I could get it. But, yes, I've been doing it for what, 20, 25 years, I guess, kinda this way. Now it's my favorite style, it's my favorite way to hunt. It's funny you say that about your kids because like this has been something that like I battle with every year. It's
Hmm.
it's gotten a little easier now that they're older because I got a
Sure.
20-year-old and he's kind of doing his thing. He's in flight school and my 16-year-old can
Oh,
drive
hell yeah.
now. Yeah, but I don't know if this is like a justification, but this is what I always told myself to maybe make myself feel better.
Oh,
It
let's
feels
hear it.
like
I need it.
yeah, okay. So I always thought um I guess I want my kids to pursue whatever it is that they love. And I want
Sure.
them to pursue it and feel it with so much passion that like they will go for it. And I feel like if I can model that, like if I can go and do this thing that's really hard, and it's going to be hard when I'm gone. Admittedly, I know that hard for my wife, but I feel like if I go and do this thing and I come back and I relive these stories and I show them, an animal or we eat the meat, I just feel like I'm trying to model what I would want them to do, when they get to adulthood. Like I hope that they find their passion. I hope that they like do it to death, you know? So it's
That's
kind of a
awesome.
justification, but it's also kind of how I legitimately feel.
Oh, that's cool, man. That's a really good way to look at it.
Yeah. Model what, whether it's hunting or
Mhm.
doing someone's hair, whatever it is your passion is,
Those are
you're
two extremes.
modeling. It's just the first thing that came to my
Whether
head.
Go
you're a
hunting or braid hair, dude. It's
barber,
well up to you.
you're in cosmetology school.
Whatever it is, whatever your passion is, you're
Yeah.
modeling the fact that you know,
Mhm.
you go for it. You're putting your energy into it and everything. I like that. I think that's a good mentality to have.
One
Yeah.
thing I
Uh,
do, I makes you feel a little bit better, and I hope that it translates someday. But like, you guys always hear about like the group of fucking 8 guys every year, and they go out to Colorado or whatever, and they hit the bunny ranch in Nevada, and they stop at the Star, and they get some food, and it's this big old
Yeah.
thing, right? And not when I'm doing it. I'm by myself,
Mhm.
and I'm not shooting the shit, not hanging out with the boys, just
Mhm.
drinking away from the family. It's not that. At
Yeah.
least it's like, hey, this isn't a party for me. This is
No.
just something I really, really freaking enjoy. And that's the only reason I'm sleeping
Yep.
in the dirt in the middle of the night away from my family. It's got to
Yeah,
be something special to choose that over hanging out. You know what I mean? And I hope
for
that
sure.
translates one day.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and I mean, it's type 2 fun for sure. I mean, it's hard. I remember I would come home from some of these hunts and my wife would be like, "Oh, you've been on vacation for 10 days, right?" Like, and I would come home
Yeah.
exhausted. A lot of the times, like I would, whether I was successful or unsuccessful, like I remember one time I killed this animal, it was like second to last day, ended up getting it out the last day, drove all the way home all night long, pulled into town at like 5 in the morning. I jumped in the shower, slept for like an hour and got up and she was like, here's your duties for the day. Like, here's the kids, right? And I'm like, great, and
Welcome
I'm
back.
yeah, yeah. And I'm
Yeah.
running with it and trying to do my damnedest. But I remember her kind of like having an attitude like, hey, you've been on vacation. And she's been on a few hunts since then, and I think she's starting to grasp like this is definitely not easy. Like it's a shit
Yeah.
ton of work. It's like physically, mentally, like the most demanding thing I do all year long. And yeah, I think she's kind of coming around to it. But I mean, we've been doing it. We've been married for 23 years at this point, so she's
Oh,
kind of
damn. Well,
yeah, she's kind of
you're
familiar
making
with
it
it.
work.
Yeah, we're trying. Yeah. Yeah, not
Yeah,
without
I know
its
what you
bumps.
mean. You come home and you expect it to be like, oh, the guy who just came in from a tour of duty or something like
Yeah.
that. In reality, it's like, you see how tall the grass is getting, motherfucker? Get out
Yep.
there.
For sure.
Uh,
Oh,
For
man.
sure.
What before we stray too far away, what is it odds wise? Because you're probably the best person to talk to about it. To
Oh,
get
yeah.
up to Alaska, like what? Do you really need to go with an outfitter, or is this something that
Or
we should
resident.
consider start putting in for? And like how what tips and tricks do you have to share?
Yeah, so there's only a few species you have to go guided, or go with a next of kin Alaskan resident. But so you've got Dall sheep, you have to go guided. Mountain goat, you have to go guided. Brown bear, grizzly bear, you have to go guided. But you can do DIY moose. You can do black bear. You can do muskox if you draw the tag. You don't have to have a guide for it. Caribou. You can do DIY caribou. You can do DIY blacktail deer. So all those you can do without a guide. And to be honest, I've never
I never
applied.
realized that.
Yeah, I don't apply in Alaska. So like their draws in December, and they have some hunts that you can apply for and draw. If you want to draw like a Chugach sheep tag or whatever it is, you're a guy that needs to apply, but you also have to have a guide, and I can't afford the guide. So it's like,
Right.
I don't even apply. But like you can do moose hunts, you can do caribou hunts, you can do Sitka blacktail hunts, you can do black bear hunts. You can do that all on your own, and it's over the counter in a lot of the state. So all you got to do is buy the tag. And the biggest issue with going to Alaska is logistics. It's all about logistics. Like, how are you going to get to where you're going to hunt and get back out?
Yeah.
And that's the hardest part to figure out. In most cases, you're having to find a transporter. So that's usually, like a small plane, float plane or whatever to fly you in, drop you off, whether it's like on the side of a lake or a river and you're going to float down, or a caribou area where somebody's going to fly you out and drop you off. You can do the Dalton Highway, and that's still like feasible. A lot of people are doing that. They just rent a vehicle and drive up the Dalton Highway, and you can hunt caribou. The bow zone is 2 miles. I want to say 2 miles. Yeah, it doesn't sound right, but there's a bow zone and then a rifle zone. So if you want to hunt with the rifle, you got to go further out. But like near the highway, you can hunt with the bow. So there's,
Oh, but damn.
yeah, the hardest part is logistics. But
I get that.
I will tell you. So like anybody that's listening, going to Alaska it's way more achievable than most of you think. Like I guarantee you that. Once I started doing it, I was like, oh, this is doable. It just takes some research and some logistics and planning and saving a little bit of money for your flights in and out and your permits, but it's way more doable than you think. And I wish I had started, 15 years ago, 20 years ago. Yeah.
I can't think of the name of them off the top of my head, but I've gone through like on YouTube, and there's some pretty decent, films where guys have just done a pile of logistics and went up there on a whim and, did a ton of research. And, I couldn't imagine doing that solo, but it seemed like if you had a buddy that was equally as determined, it seemed, like you said, more doable than it comes off.
Yeah. You'd want a buddy. Somebody was asking me, with a gun. Somebody was asking me not long ago, like, what would be your like kind of a dream hunt? And as I think about it, like I would love to go back and do that moose hunt, like on my own, and just like really grind it out for like 10 or 15 days, totally on my own, and just be out there in that environment and see how I do. I think it'd be fun.
Gratifying for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Now I have to get 2,000 pounds of meat off the mountain.
Oh,
like,
yeah. That's gotta be such a bitch.
Yeah, and you like with the area we were in, you can't bone anything out until you like get it back. So you're packing, you're packing like bone in, ribs, everything. Hindquarter on a moose is no joke. Like,
oh, I can't imagine.
Can't imagine
any part of a damn moose, man.
They're big, huge. I've told this before, but when we were cutting that moose up, you go out and you get a quarter, bring it in. We kind of start working, both of us working a quarter. But I remember at one point asking my buddy Steve, I was like, how many fucking quarters does a moose have? Like, this is ridiculous. Like, I feel like I've been cutting meat for 5 days. It just never stopped. It was just more and more and more meat.
And then you gotta what? You gotta go back to town and have it. You gotta process it in town and have it shipped home.
Yeah, so I think I flew home, I wanna say, like, 150 pounds, just boxed up and then flew it air cargo home, and then I think a lot of it we donated there just, like, in town.
Oh,
We
okay.
we had some connections prior to leaving that we just donated meat, so we donated a bunch, and then I flew home, I wanna say it was, like, 150 pounds,
Okay.
which is pretty cool. It's
Yeah,
fun. Fun to get back and eat it.
sure. I don't know if I've had moose.
It's not as good as elk, in my opinion.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
haven't had a lot of. I mean, I've had some elk. You know what I really want to do is Wyoming antelope.
Oh, it's the best.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So
You got
I got like I think like 9 points for Wyoming
you
for
gotta do it.
antelope. Would you go archery or rifle?
So if you draw like they call their hunts like a type 1 or a type 2.
Hmm.
And when you draw a type 1 or type 2, it's any weapon, so it's a rifle tag, but in most areas in the state, you can buy an over-the-counter archery stamp for 72
Hmm.
bucks, and then you can go up and hunt the archery season. So you can hunt that unit on that tag, and if you don't kill one, you can go back and kill it with a rifle.
Do,
So,
do those dates run like right one after the other?
they run August 15th usually to the first part of September, and then in a lot of the units, the hunts open up for rifle in October. So you've got some
Okay,
space between the two.
gotcha.
But no, I mean, there's only one unit in the whole state that's like an archery only antelope hunt, and then the rest of them are all these type 1s where you can bow hunt if you buy the archery stamp, and there aren't that many people that archery hunt antelope in Wyoming.
Dude, when I was back there snowmobiling, the half the guys I was with are like, I don't mess around with those stupid goats. Like they were just not even impressed. They were elk hunters and that's it. And then the
Really?
one guy was like, dude, you guys are stupid. And dude, antelope, I don't know. The antelope I've had has been phenomenal. I would love to go back and at least spend some time back there. I've only seen it in the snow really. And then start chipping away at my mule deer and elk points at some point.
Let's
But
get you
I
out.
just,
Let's get you on an antelope hunt.
dude, let's do it. Please. That would
Yeah,
be so fun.
I gotta have an antelope tag every year. Like
Yeah.
one of my favorite. Archery antelope hunting is so fun.
So do you like spot and stock or are you sitting in a ground blind over a water hole or what? That's the way to do it?
I've done
Or
some spot and
sauna?
stuff. Yeah. So I like blind hunting over water
Mhm,
hole. What I like to do is I like to go out and I like to spend, the first few days just covering as much ground as I can and just like looking for a buck that I really like.
mhm.
And then I like to spend the time watching that buck and trying to figure out where he is watering. And then I'll sneak in the middle of the night. I'll pop a blind up on that water hole. And then from that point on, I love blind hunting. I just like sitting there.
No kidding.
Yeah, it's one of my favorites. So I'll take like 3 or 4 books and I'll hunt for however long it takes. And I'll sit there in the blind and read books. And I do journal a lot when I'm doing that.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I'll sit in the blind, I'll read books, I'll drink Diet Pepsis, I'll eat sandwiches and read books and just watch antelope come in and out. And I love it. It's become one of my favorite hunts.
Is this all, public land stuff or you
Mhm.
got somebody with a yeah.
Yeah, just public.
Is there much water to be found over there? Like if you
Mhm.
is it it's not too hard?
No, for sure. And that's if you draw an antelope tag, that's the first thing I do is pull up an aerial imagery of it, and I just go around dropping pins on water holes.
Mhm.
And as I head out and I start scouting, that's the first thing I do is I just cruise those roads that are in and around those water holes, and I'm just looking for antelope because they're pretty, especially from like and I would say August through maybe October when they get pushed out if it gets some snow in it, but they're pretty habitual. Like they don't move a whole lot. So like they'll camp out on a water hole and that's kind of their home water hole. They might, hit another one if it's within range, but they're pretty habitual to an area. And if you
Okay.
can find out where it's watering and you're just real patient, you can usually kill that antelope. I like the oh
Okay.
shit moment too about hunting out of a blind, like where you're sitting there and you've got like one window and it's this
Yeah.
big, to the water hole.
Right.
And you're just sitting there and you're reading a book and you're kind of nodding off and you like look up and all of a sudden, like the buck you've been hunting is at the water hole. Like I love that spike. It's just
Oh,
like,
I bet. Just
you
wake you
know,
right up.
oh yeah, it's the best.
What ground blind are you running?
Zenik. Have you heard of Zenik?
Nope.
So it's this guy, Jared Lyle. I don't know if you ever met Jared. He used to work
Uh-uh.
over at Trophy Taker.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And then he moved to Cedar. He lives here in town. He's the manager over at Huntingful now.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Jared's a good dude, but he started a blind company. So it's his blind, and he went through, everything he hated about blinds and took all the feedback and then built this heavy duty. It's an awesome blind. It's my favorite. I've got two of them.
It's one of the ones that has the big, like, even though it's camo, it's basically a giant window.
Yeah, it goes two whole sides are windows, and then you have like zip windows in the others, and you can, it's got fabric that you can like manipulate either up and down depending on how you want the configuration to work. But and they're blacked out on the inside. They're roomy enough that you can fit. I've taken my kids before and sat in antelope blinds and had decent room. So, but yeah, the window configuration, that is like really the ticket.
Yeah.
Yeah,
these things are pretty
blinds.
slick.
Are
Mhm.
you looking them up?
Yeah, these look awesome. Yeah, I'm looking at it. It looks like you're just in a glass window. Like it's pretty cool. Obviously, you're not. You can see all around you, and then you have, like you said, your zipper blinds, and so it's not like you're trying to peer out through this little hole, because that's what you have.
Do they still have shoot through fabric?
They do. I've never tried it. Have you?
No. We had a blind a long time ago, and the windows that had shoot through fabric if you wanted to not open them or something like that. I remember that being one of the sales pitches 20 years ago or whatever, but it doesn't seem like a good idea.
Yeah, and it never tracked for me. I was just like, I can't see that being awesome for aeroflight.
Yeah, expandable broadheads would hate it.
Yeah, no way. that would not work. Yeah, I have shot through the fabric on my own blind though. Like, just didn't get aero clearance.
Yeah,
and shot an antelope, and I put it right through the actual fabric of it, maybe just an inch and a half too.
Did you hit the
too
antelope?
low? No, completely. I don't even know. I think the arrow just like dove straight into the ground. I've had some mishaps. I shot a fence post one time trying to shoot an antelope. I had this water tank, and it had a fence around it, and I put my blind up on this one side of it because I thought he was going to come into my left, and he didn't. He came across, and he came straight in, and I could see him through these slats in the fence, and I thought, man, I can thread that between those two slats. So I got down on my knees, got to full draw, and leveled in on him, pulled through, and the shot broke. And dude, I absolutely just hammered the cross plank on this fence. Just pounded the shit out of it. I was shooting a Slick Trick standard broadhead at the time.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, I'm not going to dig that out. So I just unscrewed the arrow and pulled the arrow up. But I could go out to that same water hole, and that broadhead's still in that fence post.
No kidding.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's funny.
But then I killed the buck. I killed the buck the next day. So.
The same one?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, awesome. Oh, they are habitual, huh? What so you're doing a lot of hunting. We'll talk our tournament shit later, but like what's your hunting setup? What broadheads and all that shit are you running?
Yeah, so I'm shooting a Matthews Arc 34.
Yeah.
70 pounds. I've got a Excel driver, 5-pin, 19 pins on it. I've got a Q8D, the little integrate rest on it. Bars, I've got the Matthews bars. I got a 15-inch front bar, which I think I got 5 ounces on it, and then I've got a 12-inch back bar with 9, I think, on it. And then releases, I kind of go back and forth, but mostly I've been shooting a True Ball Executive hinge, or yep. So I either shoot that, or for a long time, all I shot was a True Ball HT Pro, the brass 4-finger. That was like my go-to forever. But I have been playing with. I've been shooting that new UV button too, so I've been playing with it for.
How is that?
It's really nice. I really like it, actually. Yeah. I was not. Those guys were nice enough to like send me protos back in, I want to say like May, and so I've been tinkering with them for most of the year. And I think I've got 3 different iterations of them, but I actually really like it. I think for Yeah, I think they took some really good feedback. They shortened the shank on the head,
Okay.
added some grooves in the fingers. It feels crisper. It just feels like a better release. So
Yeah.
yeah, I've been shooting it. I like it. I think people
Their
are gonna.
releases have always been so comfortable to me.
Hmm.
I still shoot their original hinge. It fits my hand so freaking well. I love that release.
Yeah.
So simple, but all those they've got the I don't know, at least for me, those things just are so comfortable.
Hmm. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
I
I
don't think
like
I've
their
shot their
releases.
buttons yet. I do remember it being long though in the head, but
Oh, for sure.
that was the original.
Yeah, I think they shortened. So this is like a early prototype. Had
Uh-huh.
had an open hook, but I think the shank itself they shortened like a 1/4 inch.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so it's
Yeah,
quite
no,
a
that looks more normal.
yeah, quite a bit shorter. It feels a lot more comfortable in the hand, in my opinion. Just the trigger feels a lot more crisp. One thing I actually really like that they did is they added. I don't have the other one here, but they added locking screws, so your tension and your travel.
Mhm.
So, like on most releases, when you set that adjustment, um, I've had releases that over time, I'm like, I swear to God, this thing is like getting lighter.
Uh-huh.
I feel like it's creeping.
Uh-huh.
And they added a locking screw. So you set your tension and your travel, and then it's got 2 separate locking screws that go in and make sure that those don't move. So it's just like an
Gotcha.
added little bonus to know that you have the same setup every time.
Yeah. Is the current model a closed hook?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Closed hook. It's got the little string keeper on it.
Okay, yeah. Is it like spring loaded or something?
Yep, spring loaded, so you just slide it on. Thing I like about that in a calling situation, or if you like hunting whitetail, is that you can actually hang your release from your D loop, which is
Right. Gotcha.
a nice advantage over most hinges where you're having to like try to do two things with one hand.
I get scared shitless dangling that thing because man,
Yeah,
I, it's so easy to bump that. I mean, they're set so light,
for sure.
especially if you're in a tree stand or something.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
right
I
on.
know what you mean.
What broadheads you running?
Oh, yeah, arrows. So arrows, I'm shooting a gold tip platinum pierce.
Okay,
And
yeah,
then, yep. So it's a 166, and then I'm shooting a 75 grain Easton half out. So it's the
uh-huh,
stainless steel aluminum. So my arrows are kind of Frankenstein out, and then I've got Easton Knox, and then I'm shooting tack veins. So the driver 275s and a
yep,
3 fletch, and then I'm shooting Sever broadheads. So the
okay.
1.5 or the 1.5 hybrid.
I like those.
I love them.
Yeah,
Yeah, they've been great for me.
right on. You, I haven't looked at Severs in a hot minute. Can you practice with those, or they have their own practice head?
So they have a locking screw that goes through the ferrule that will lock the
Oh,
blades
you
in place.
can
Yep. So you can actually shoot those with the blades that'll
hinge that.
lock in the ferrule.
That's
And
what I
I've
always
done that.
liked about the Schwackers,
Yeah.
the Levi Morgan edition ones, like that
Yep.
you could actually shoot them and then just unlock them. It was
Yep.
such a cool idea.
Yeah. Are you getting tons of feedback from
Dude,
John?
I can hear John breathing like you
I,
cannot believe.
I
Really?
can't-
Every time you come back from wherever you go, it's like you are just
I
I don't know what it
don't
is.
know
And
what's
then
going on. Sorry.
the first time it went away on its own.
I was like,
But
Darth Vader's back.
oh my gosh. No, I cannot hear you.
Hi. How
Okay.
about now?
There you
Do I
are.
There
sound
you
better?
go. Gotcha.
Do I sound
Yeah.
better?
Oh dang, dude. Yeah, it was like Joe Biden was behind me or something.
Yeah. I
Yeah, dude, I don't
figured
know
that.
what it is. The last 2 episodes, these dogs, man, they just not behaving.
Yeah, I don't know. Every time you come back though and you turn the thing back on, it just is like
Yeah.
anyway.
I figured I'd say something.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I was this close, but I've said shit before and I'm like, dude, John, your microphone's really loud or whatever. And then I re-listen to the episode and I don't even notice it. So
I
I don't
think
know what
it's
the fuck's going on.
I think it might be when I mute the mic from the
Oh.
mic itself, because that's what, you said you got it the first time. Well, that's what I did when I ran to
Yeah.
go send them to bed when they were barking at the delivery guy. And then when he's barking at the door because he wants to go out, I did the same thing there and kind of,
We'll
I'm
be more
guessing
cognizant of that.
Yeah, I'll mute it from the program next time.
Well, you sound crystal clear now.
Yeah,
Good.
all
You're like
better.
Paul Harvey on the
Yeah,
radio.
you got your sinuses fixed.
Yeah, I'm glad we figured that out. It took a
Yeah.
couple episodes, but
Uh,
awesome.
um.
Yeah,
So let's see. Where do you want to go? Where do you want to go?
I got a question.
Do
Mhm.
it.
What do you find harder? Maybe you guys talked about it while I was gone, but what do you find harder, shooting an animal or shooting a target?
As far as like nervousness.
Yeah, like what gets you? What do
Mm.
you struggle with more, shooting like say like a Vegas game, or when you're in a hunting situation?
I would say, I mean, arguably, I'm like more nervous. Like, I still get buck fever pretty good. When it's like building up to that moment, you've got an animal bedded, especially like a big mule deer. That's like
Mm-hmm.
in my opinion, there's like, I've hunted a bunch of different animals, but for me, like a
Yep.
bedded mule deer is like the top of the heap. Like, nothing can mess you up like a big bedded mule deer because like they just get away more
Yeah.
often than not.
Yeah.
And so I would say I'm probably the most nervous there. As far as like target archery goes, I'm so new to it that and I mean I've shot stuff in the past and I remember being nervous. I remember a tournament I went to one time and I was doing really well. And we were kind of creeping along the backside and I had probably like 5 or 6 targets left. And I had Henry. Do you know Henry Bass? Do you guys know
Yeah.
Henry? Yeah, so I was shooting
Hell
with
yeah.
Henry. Yeah, so
Okay.
I was shooting with Henry. And Henry like leans over and he's like, "Hey man, do you know like if you you kind of clean out with this like these next few targets, he's like, you know, you'll probably place." And I was like, "Oh no shit." And he's, you know, you probably win some money. And just put that like little, you know,
Yep.
little
There it
devil,
is.
little yeah, little devil in the back of my head. And I mean,
That was on purpose,
oh, I know.
probably. Yeah,
I'm sure it was, and I appreciate him for doing it, you know. But it didn't work in my favor. Like I got more anxious and more
Yep.
nervous. But yeah, I mean, like shooting Vegas last year, that first day, first
Oh,
end,
geez.
you know, I was like, this is different, man. Like I felt nervous, and it's stupid because I would tell myself like, you're shooting paper,
Yep.
doesn't matter. Like I'm not shooting championship. I'm not shooting for money. I don't care. Doesn't matter. Like it's just paper. And I knew that, but you know, when it says like, "Hey, this is the first end for scoring," and everybody kind of goes quiet, and you just hear like the thwop, you know, as
Mhm.
those thousands of arrows are like hitting the
Yep.
bale. It's like, yeah, I'm nervous.
Mhm.
Like I feel shaky, which is stupid, but I did.
I'll be driving and I try to shake it off and I feel like I shake it off pretty good when I'm at Vegas and I hear those words, but I'll literally be driving to work and I will in my head say, "All right, this is the first end for score." And it it makes me fucking scared to hear myself say it in my head. It's such a only because it's like, "Hey, here's the start of your 3-day weekend that you've planned all year." It's like a pretty big it's not a big deal, but like it's a pretty shitty time to mess up, you know what I mean?
For sure.
But
Yeah, you poured time and money, and I don't know, I was thinking about it when I was driving home last year because I was like, you know, I was nervous, and I admittedly, like, I felt it in my legs, you know, you come to full draw and, like, you can feel it in my release hand,
mhm.
and, I was driving home and I was thinking about it, and I was like, you know, like, the only reason I would be that nervous is just, like, I actually gave a shit, which is like a privilege, right? It's cool to
Yeah.
care about something enough that you actually get nervous.
Yeah.
And in that regard, I was like trying to spin it into a positive, and I was like, you know, nerves are good. Means you care, you know, and if you
Yeah.
care, you keep trying to work at it and get better.
Matthias said
yeah,
something like that on that when we talked to him a couple episodes ago, and he was like,
yeah.
"Yeah,"
You said,
he said it was a privilege, I think, right?
Yeah,
yeah,
Something to
privilege.
that
Yeah,
effect. Yeah,
pressure
that's
is a privilege.
privilege. That's right.
that's a
Hmm.
good way to look at it. But I
Mhm.
think if I remember right, I rebutted and said, "Yeah, that's cool in like a shoot off situation," which was what I think he was talking about. But there's really no privilege of like this is your first. I paid. This is what is supposed to happen. Is I'm supposed to shoot this end, the first
Yeah,
end. How do I
yeah,
get that to feel like a privilege and a blessing and all that shit? I mean,
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah,
There's got to be. I got to come up with something to say in my head that just
Mhm.
calms that down a little bit.
I definitely don't struggle like with the first end. Like that's not the one that bothers me ever. And I think it's because like a couple years ago I started running our leagues at our shop, and So I started running 2 leagues, and on the second league, not the the pro staff, the team league, I'm the guy in charge. I'm the one running it. So I like to be a little bit more aggressive with that stuff. So
Punking on the public is what he's doing.
I'll be like, I'll say stuff like, "Hey guys, this is the one that counts. Your first arrows. Don't start shitty. Don't shoot a 9 on your first arrow." And I'll say that stuff out loud. Now, part of it is me practicing myself, because I'm actually speaking these things into existence. So what I have to do is now I also have to address that. And so because I've done it so much now, like the first end's never the one that usually gets me. Now, every once in a while I'll make a bad shot, but for me, it's usually about the third end, and my brain goes, it'll take a mental log, because it's very easy. It's increments of 3. So and it's under 10. There's not double digits that John's brain has to deal with. And it'll take a mental log. And I've noticed it this season specifically, about third end, my brain will take a mental log of how many X's I've shot, and it'll instantly quantify that to 300 blankety blank X, whether that's 29X, 30X.
Already forecasting it.
Yeah, just and it's just this nasty thing, this habit that I have where, and so I have my own process of dealing with that, but it's like, we all struggle with one of them, whether it's the first end, the last end, whatever it is. It's like, you gotta figure out that way, man. That last end for me on the second qualifier of the Todd Hawkins, I have not been more disappointed in myself in a very, very long time. A very, very long time. Yeah. I was down 2 X's. Proceeded to shoot. We're shooting five spots. So proceeded to shoot like XX 1099. And I was down 2 X's. And I was just like, what are you doing? Like, what the heck?
See, how do you fix that?
Yeah. And the problem is I probably would have shot those arrows again. That's the thing that, and I don't mean that as like a weak standpoint. They just didn't feel like bad shots until the bow went off and I felt the whole bow go wham, like out the side. And, some of those things you ignore under those pressure circumstances, or you're not paying attention to, well, is that pressure in my hand normal, or am I experiencing something that I'm kind of numb to this because I'm trying to finish this strong or whatever it is. So,
right.
Yeah.
I get like halfway through a round, and which is about where it takes me to like get into a groove, and like I'll shoot 3 arrows fast and have a lot of time on the clock left. But if it's rolling, and that's usually how I do it. But it'll get to a point where it's going so smooth that you get lax. And it's the second you're just like, I'm just going to pump these out, boom, boom, boom. And that's always when I fuck up. Middle of the round, I'll drop one just because I got too comfortable, which is exactly where I want to be, is where this just seems easy. I get up, shoot my 3 arrows, go back to where, bullshitting. And I got to find that line and not fall off that other side.
Yeah.
It's exactly what happened to me when I was shooting against Paige. First 2 ends, I was shaky, little, antsy, like, oh man, I want to shoot well against Paige. I want to actually have a chance here. And I'm not going to go for 12s. If I go out, I'm going out on X's. That's fine. And I shot she didn't drop an X against me, but I think
she was motoring at that point.
Yeah. I think I shot like XX10, X1010. And so after the second round, I was like, I'm out, because I know I'm not going for a 12 in the second end. And I also know she's going to at least hit one of those X's. Even if she just shits the bed and shoots, X1010, that still knocks me out if I shoot triple X. And I got so relaxed. X center. Last one, I'm coming back. I'm like, this will be a great shot to finish on, and collapse and pop it off into the 8. And I was like, oh, great, cool, awesome. That's a great.
Yeah.
We walk up there and she's like, oh, cool, you went for the 12. And I was like,
yeah, that's exactly what I did.
Yeah. And she goes, no, you don't say it. You say, yeah, I went for the 12. And I was like, yeah, no, I know what I did though. I just got complacent with the fact of like, not the fact of going out, but like the shots, like pin was, how it is in practice, just sitting in the middle, everything's good. And the shots, first two broke easy, no issues. And I just figured the last one would go that way and I'd at least finish on a high note and, walk off happy.
Do you feel like it's like a fine line, right? Between focus, like you have to focus.
Yeah.
And then you also on the flip side of the coin, you have to be relaxed enough that you're not over aiming, right? You're not like trying to just absolutely bury that pin. It's like this weird fine line that you're walking both sides.
If you focus just a skosh too far, you're thinking about it too much.
Yeah, you can't get the
and
release.
you're not in your subconscious and you're not flowing. It's it's a sharp ridge to walk.
For sure. Yeah.
What I tell all my students is there's a aspect of archery that is relaxation. You cannot shoot tense. Oftentimes when you're shooting tense, you're pulling your shoulders out of alignment, which makes everything harder to break, makes everything harder to shoot. So you have to have I call it body geometry. Your body geometry has to stay in its position, but it can't start tightening up, because when you get tense, you're going to start contracting muscles. And typically when you contract, you close. So you're going to start closing off, and you're going to leak pressure somewhere, whether it's, usually off the back is the big one. So you have to stay relaxed, but you can't relax.
Yeah.
You have to stay focused. You have to be present with what you're doing. You have to address each part of, the aiming process to the keeping your brain focused on, not stressing out, like whatever it is, like you have to actually run your process. Yeah. You got to keep that conversation in your head positive, but also focus driven. And I've come up with some pretty cool ways that work for me, but I mean, by no means are they refined and I'm ready to write a book about it. But
have you done any mental management stuff, Trail?
Do you know I had Paige on my podcast just not long ago and just chit-chatted with her about her new insight thing.
How the fuck did I miss that? When was this?
I haven't put it out yet. So
no kidding?
Yeah, I just talked to her last week. In fact, she was super generous. I think she gave me like an hour and 40 minutes. But
she's awesome. She's freaking so cool. Open book.
I'll just throw this in about Paige real quick. But like in my job, and I've had an opportunity to like talk to a bunch of different people from like all different walks of life, right? And every once in a while, you'll just get a person where like you walk away from it and you're like, man, I just feel good. Like I feel like she's so positive. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, she's so upbeat, and I was just like, man, I felt great. But she was really fun to talk to.
Was this on your podcast or the Big Hunt guys?
It's mine, the Game Trail. So yeah, mine's a lot more archery stuff, bow hunting related. But yeah, it'll be out, I think, probably Friday.
Fucking A,
so
awesome.
yeah, you can check it out. But I haven't done any mental management stuff, but I'm thinking that's probably, for me at least, it's probably the biggest hurdle I need to clear.
For everybody, man. Everybody's bow it can shoot 20 yards. We can't do it in our heads is the problem.
Yeah. I think maybe I'm more of a head case than some. I've figured out in a bow hunting situation, and I've become like pretty proficient with it. But like target archery, I just think like I get into my head so much, like I feel like I've got real ground to gain on the mental side and just focus. Because I think I was telling you, Elliot, last year shooting Vegas, the thing that I did not anticipate, because I don't shoot leagues. We don't have like a local indoor league at all. And so I just shoot alone at my house, which I've got like 19 and a half yards if I shoot from my kitchen to my garage with the door open. But the one thing that like I did not anticipate is just how focused I would have to be with so much going on around me. Like I would be at full draw and I would be like listening to a conversation from two people behind me, and I could have chimed in because I was like so engaged in their conversation. Like I could hear everything. And
did that help?
I don't think so. No, I don't think so. Cause like Yeah, it didn't really help. And then I had the clock, so your 2-minute clock
Mm-hmm.
was right above my bale,
Mm-hmm.
and
No.
I hadn't shot with the clock. So my first thing is like, it's the first thing I'm looking at as I'm coming to full draw is the clock, as I'm coming down onto the dot, and I'm like
Mm-hmm.
watching those numbers tick off.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember that being like really distracting. And I'm like halfway through the round, I remember being like, why in the hell can't I just focus on what I'm trying to do here? I'm like peripheral vision. I'm watching the clock countdown.
Mm-hmm.
So I really struggled with the focus side of it, which I didn't anticipate. But yeah, mental management. Like I told Paige, I'm like, I gotta try it. I gotta
Yeah.
try it.
Yeah.
You've been trying it.
I haven't given it as much due diligence as I need to. Like
Mhm.
I thought when I first got it, I was when I thought or heard like her talking to Greg Poole about it being like guided meditation or whatever
Mhm.
they called it. I was like, okay, this is way different than anything in archery right now. And I thought this could be good. This is new. I'm open to it. And I know that the mental side of it is the real kicker. But I thought I'd be able to do it on my way to work.
Hmm.
That shit's gonna put me right to sleep, man, dude. That's gonna be dangerous. And I'm already tired driving to work. So I
Yeah.
was really, yeah, I mean, I still listen to it occasionally if I'm like awake enough for it. But like I
Mhm.
need to just put my headphones in when I go to bed type of thing. But some nights just don't allow for it. I've
Yeah.
been listening to it in the sauna a little bit.
Hmm.
We got a little garage sauna now. So
Nice.
I've been just chipping away at it. But it's one of those things I gotta find something that like and I think she even told me, she's like, it's gonna take a minute for you to believe the
Mhm.
words because right now it's like, you're an amazing archer. You're used to being at the top. And it's like, no, I'm not.
Yeah.
I get there when I'm lucky, but I'm not
Yeah.
used to it, and I'm not believing the words. I'm like, you're pumping me up too hard, lady.
Yeah.
In my head, that's how
Yeah.
I'm thinking about it. But after a while, that needs to, I guess that goes away. And when it does, then maybe we'll see some
Yeah.
progress.
When I talked to her, I told her, I was like, I'm gonna need you to convince me, because like just by my nature, I'm a skeptic. Like
Yeah.
I question most things,
Yeah.
So you're gonna have to convince me. And by the end of it, she made a great case. So
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna give it a go and at least grab a couple of the little modules and give them a
Hmm.
listen. And I have a lot of time to listen to stuff. So I'm at my desk all day every day, or I'm driving back and forth from Vegas one day a week. So I've got lots of drive time. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna give it a go and see. It can't hurt. I know that.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah.
No.
There's two things you mentioned that I wanted to go back on.
Mhm.
About the mental side. There's no one that said it better, in my opinion, than Lanny Basham,
Mm.
who says in these sports, specifically like shooting sports and, say golf or something, you ask any of these pro athletes and you ask them, how much of this do you believe is mental? And typically they say, well, nowhere under 80, if not 90%.
Mhm.
Okay, so then why are you only practicing maybe 10% of your time on the mental side of this sport?
Yeah.
You're putting all the physical energy, all of the effort of shooting your bow or, hitting balls at the range, doing that, but you're not addressing the mental side of the sport. So then when it comes time to perform in a situation where you're stressed or under pressure, your mental side shows up and it lapses. So that's definitely something you can look at too, is the with winning in
In
mind,
line. Yeah.
if you haven't already. But
Yeah.
um, and then you mentioned about listening to people in the background
Mhm.
during shooting.
Oh,
That
after this, you got to tell them about what happened.
Yeah, I will.
okay.
Yeah.
I don't want to forget.
Yeah.
I didn't forget. Trust me, I did not forget. Um, but you talked about listening to people in the background
Mhm.
and being able to chime in on a conversation. The absolute best thing, in my opinion, for that is a league,
Mhm.
where there's a bunch of people hanging out, talking, because for the first 2 years, if Mark or Doug started talking and I'm at full draw, my ear just instantly turns and listens, right? And now they
You're
could
just
be
waiting for him to
standing.
talk shit about you, and you're like, he's talking about hunting right now, but somehow this is gonna turn on me, and he's gonna fuck with me.
Yeah, a little bit of that, but no, like it totally, you learn, because there's going to
Mhm.
be people. Most of us want to talk with each other, at least I do. I want to talk with with Elliot or Louis Sheedy when he came down and stuff like that. And part of it's just me wanting to just instead of sitting there and focusing on the mental strategy that I have to keep my brain focused and everything, another thing I can do is create conversation about anything other than what I'm doing. And then when I step up to the line, that's when I start running the program again. And so I don't know if everyone's doing it because of that, or if it's just we enjoy each other's company, but you're going to hear conversations and you're going to have to learn how to, overcome listening to that. And I think that's why I think leagues are really good, is because of that. You're going to be put in situations where, there's things you're going to learn about shooting that you had no idea you would have to, like your first experience at Vegas. You probably had no concept of the fact that you would be chiming into other people's conversations, 10 feet away, and want to even pitch in on the conversation.
Dude, I went out of my way to start a conversation with the guy next to me just because it was awkward. We were all sitting there, everybody's nervous, and I could tell by the way he's dressed that he was a bow hunter, and we just started bullshitting, and thank God, and it was just like, oh fuck. Now we cannot we're not talking about the monkey in the room right now, which is we're in scoring ends right now, and this is terrifying. So we just started bullshitting about deer hunting in between ends, and it calmed everything way down. I had to have it.
Yeah.
But
I think I was
until
telling
he
you
shot the wrong target.
Yeah, I got a little too laxed.
Yeah. I think I told you that one kind of bit me in the ass, because I had the same idea. Like Vegas first day, I meet my bell mates, and the same thing. I'm kind of nervous, and I think, I have enough people on my podcast. Like one of the easiest things to do is break the ice. Is just like start, just going on, just get the conversation rolling, right? So I start talking to all my bell mates, and then I had this kid on my bell that I don't know if he'd ever had a friend, like ever. Like this kid, like, I mean, this guy wanted to talk the entire rest of the time, to the point where I think this is what you're referring to, is like did he
recognize you?
No.
Oh
no, this guy
I thought this was a fan.
No, dude, this is just some kid on my bell. It was his first time he'd ever shot Vegas. I think he came on his own. I mean, the bow set up. He had a whisker biscuit on it, if that tells you anything. Like he was just kind of just in
raw
it, brand new.
Vegas, dude.
Yeah, raw dogging the shit out of it. But I remember one time being at full draw, and he had shot I think it was my third arrow, and he'd shot his 3. And I'm standing there at full draw, and he's like, "Hey man, do you think you want to grab lunch after this?" He's like, "Do you think we could just go grab some food afterwards?" And I was shot my arrow, and I was like, "Yeah, I've got some friends, and they're expecting me to meet them, but I've
got friends,
right, a couple. At least I've got
Thanks,
2.
I've already got friends."
Yeah,
the established loner suddenly comes up with friends. He's like, "No, I got plenty of people around me."
That same kid, he had one of those forward-facing quivers,
a quivalizer,
hip quiver.
Yeah, he's got the recurve quiver.
Yeah, with the arrow sticking forward. And one arrow, I just come to full draw. I'm settling in, release clicks. I'm pulling through, and I feel one of his knocks go underneath my t-shirt, like right up the middle of my back, and it's like digging into the middle of my back. And I was like,
and you're at full draw.
Yeah, at full draw. Yeah. It was quite
how close is this guy standing when you're shooting?
Close enough he could, run a knock up the back of my, small of my back.
Oh my God.
I felt violated.
Oh, I could not do that, dude.
Yeah.
Did you snap at him?
Yeah, after that one, I was like, "Hey man, can you just take a step back?"
All the way off?
Yeah, just I don't even care, because they stack you in there pretty tight, right? And I was like, even if you have to be as close as you are, if you could at least just watch your arrows, I'd just appreciate it if you're just not poking me in the ass with your arrows. That'd be awesome, So that was pretty funny.
How were those arrows? Did they land?
The one where he ran the knock up my back did not land at all. Did not. I mean, it was like a fat 8. It was not good. Yeah, it was bad. And then, do you know what? To be honest, it felt like from that, and this is goes back to mental. but it felt like the round from that point forward just kind of deteriorated because I was like agitated. Like
Yeah.
at that point, I was like pissed off.
Yeah.
You know, and it didn't bode well for my shooting.
What day was that? Do you know?
Day one.
No.
Yeah.
Set the tone.
Mm-hmm. I had a bad first day, so
But you get a whole new bail.
Yeah, that happened. Those two incidences, and then I think I was like my ninth end, third arrow, getting really long in the clock, and I was like, this is not breaking. So I just relaxed out of it, and I've never done this, but relaxed out of it and just put too much tension into it and shot a 0. So bow shot broke low, and I hit like between the two butts, between the two targets, you know, his and mine. And yeah, shot a 0. So it was not a great day. But I learned a lot.
I shot a 0 last year, Friday at Vegas.
Really?
I shot the gal Allison. I shot her target. She was, I believe, below me, but freaking coming down on, and I had finally gotten in a groove. I was hitting some X's. I was like, fucking hey, man, we're doing it. Gotten too much of a groove, got too lax, and I came down with that 8-power lens, and all I can see is yellow. I don't know whose yellow this is, but there's a shit ton of them on that bail, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And freaking shot her freaking X.
Did you shoot an X?
Sucked. Oh, yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
You feel good about that?
It was,
when you miss a 0 like that, it's always an X.
The whole, you don't understand though. You know, like you probably get it. The whole thing when they go down and score, or no, sorry, maybe it didn't work for you, but I had to have my arrow pulled because she hadn't shot her target yet. So it was hold the whole line. Hundreds of people hold up while a ref goes out and pulls that one arrow and walks it back and hands it to my ass.
Yeah.
Dude, the worst feeling in the world.
But at least you just shot the wrong target and you still shot an X.
Yeah, it was still like, it's like in that class, you can't do that. You're going home. You're going home. It's over.
Yeah.
It's halfway. You're 30 minutes into Friday, and it was just the worst feeling ever.
For me, the rest of that whole shoot, like even if I had an arrow, I was like, I know I should let down. I was like, there's no way under any circumstances am I letting down. Like I'm gonna force this arrow, even if I shoot an 8, I'm forcing it because I just didn't dare let down. So it was that's definitely something I got to work through. Like,
dude, I didn't even tell you guys. You had a moment. Boy, this was a moment. That same bail, that same girl, Allison. There was bows behind the line. Mine was one of them. Somebody had a Gatorade on the floor, and I had a water bottle real close next to my bow that you couldn't hit the water bottle without hitting the bow. You know what I mean? I thought it was safe. She comes off the line, and somebody had moved their bow away from the Gatorade that was next to it. Now there's just a Gatorade sitting right in the middle of this. Like there's very few walking paths, you know, in and out of the lines. And she almost steps on it, and she's looking at it, and she goes, oh shit. And I can see her. I'm sitting down in a chair. She's walking right to me. She just misses the Gatorade from stepping on it and lands on my water bottle. And that water bottle, she throws all her weight on that thing. It rolls like a fucking skateboard out from under her. And as it's rolling and she's putting more weight on it, that cap pops off and blows water on the back of about 4 people's legs who are at full draw.
Oh, no
and then
way.
she eats shit right on the floor. I mean, dude, she like tries to miss the one, lands on the other. It rolls. She does the splits. Water goes boof all across to everybody. She lands on the floor, Indian style. It was, and I'm just sitting here like this, watching it, like 4 feet in front of me. I'm like, what the fuck just happened? It was chaos, man. I couldn't imagine being those people getting blasted with water in shorts at full draw. You know what I mean? I'm so, it was such a.
I was gonna say that ref saw your arrow wraps, the 90s Cup.
Yeah.
And he was like, this motherfucker's drunk. And then now he's probably watching what happened. He's like, I need to go check out this bail. These people over here need to be
she can't even
drug
stand.
tested. She can't stand.
It wasn't her fault. That was just too much shit in the way. But it was just one of those things, like, I could not believe that it happened. I just sat there. I'm just like, no way. Did that just happen?
Did they?
So
Did they let them reshoot arrows? Like, what happens in that situation?
Nothing.
Just is what it is.
Nobody shot. I think
Oh.
they
Is what it
probably.
is,
I'm
yeah.
sure a few of them let down.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But it was just chaos for a split second.
Good times.
Do you use up all that clock, the 2 minutes, or you come off the line with a minute to spare like I do?
I would say if I'm doing it right, like I've got time to spare. I did have 1 or 2 arrows, like I said, where it felt like I had let down twice, and I did run long in the clock.
Two's pushing it.
Yeah, like I just couldn't get it to break for whatever reason. Just couldn't relax and push pull at the same time and make it work. So, but normally I'm pretty good about it.
What hinge? I just assumed you run a hinge. What release is that? A hinge or a button? What are you running lately?
Man, I've been shooting hinge mostly. So I would say, so I got target panic really bad. I was telling Paige this probably 15 years ago, and my buddy gave me Carter A tension. You remember that?
A tension?
Yeah, with the little spike on it.
Mm-mm.
You know, it doesn't even have a rotating. It just, I think it's called the A tension. I'll have to go back and look and see. But he gave me that and kind of showed me how to shoot it. And
do you mean the evolution?
No, it's
evolution's a resistance.
Yeah, it's like a little spot. It doesn't even have like a moon that rotates or anything. It's basically
you just roll it off the D loop.
You just roll it off the hook.
It's
basically.
a fixed hook.
Yeah, fixed hook, and it's a Carter. I know that. It was old. But I was like ready to quit bow hunting because I just was having so much trouble with target panic, and I was hating it. And he gave me this hinge and just said, just take your sight off. He basically taught me, go blank bell. And so I did that for about 9 months in my basement.
Holy cow.
Yeah, like 5 yards. And that's all I did was over and over. Yeah, I'd go down and just shoot arrows with that thing. And it got to a point where I was like, yeah, I feel good now. Like I can actually aim, and things kind of made sense to me. I'd never had any coaching or anything like that. And so since then, I've just shot a hinge, I would say 90% of the time. So I've been shooting a hinge. I go back and forth between the
Even hunting?
Yeah.
Right on.
Yeah, I hunt with the hinge a lot. And I think, honest to God, I think it's made me make shots that I know for a fact I wouldn't have made otherwise.
Yeah, you can't rush those as bad.
Yeah.
You can cram a button, but you can't rush a hinge.
Yeah.
You'd have to intentionally doing it,
Yeah, I've had hunting situations where a bull will walk out. I had this one in Wyoming, and I was telling Paige about it, but I remember coming to full draw on it. It was 55 yards, and I was pin gapping it, and pins just sat there. They were sitting there nice and cozy, just kind of right where they needed to be. And I remember, like, in my mind, I was just screaming at myself, now. And I didn't fire. Like, I went through the full process, and when the shot did break, I made one of the best shots I've ever made, just like full rotation of the arrow in flight, saw it the entire way, double lunged him, and he went over and died like 80 yards. But I know for a fact, like, had I been shooting a button or an index finger release, like, I would have slapped the shit out of it. Like, as soon as my head said now, I'd have just whack, Yeah. So yeah, hinge has been good for me.
Yeah. I've had a hinge with me at times too. I've been running a button in the woods the last few years. This was the first year, like, I've always had, I don't know if it's luck or it's probably not luck. I've heard Nate Simmons actually talk about how, like, shots will just happen and he's not, like, almost in control of them. And I've had that where, like when I shot my elk or something, it, like, as soon as the pin hit the sweet spot, the bow just broke, and it was like a surprise shot. But it just, like, when it looked good, it went. And it always ended up in my favor. It always turned out in my favor. But I was not really in control. I did not give it the go ahead. My mind just saw it and let it go. This year was the first time when I shot that bear, he was walking real slow, and I was on his shoulder chasing him the whole time. And I'm like, any time would be great. Like, normally this is already gone 3 steps ago. And I had to, like, consciously start squeezing, or I was going to, he was going to eclipse me. But, I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing. I've always thought, like, maybe I've been getting lucky and, I need to be more in control of it or whatever. This year I was finally. But
I think
go ahead.
I was gonna say, I think I would bet you like as much target archery you guys have done and as many people as you talk to in the space, you guys probably know, and you feel like you could go back to arrows where you're like, the way you felt about that arrow when it broke might have been like, oh shit, that didn't, I didn't do that the way and it still landed. Or it broke like exactly the way it was supposed to, you know, pin bore a hole in the middle and you dropped an X and you were great. And you feel differently about those two experiences. Like the result was probably the same, but that's really like for me, the thing I love about archery so much is like I'm chasing that feeling of like a perfect break, pin sitting, and it may, just the flight of the arrow and it hits. But it is funny, like you try to do the same thing over and over. And I mean, it's all about repetition in archery. It's just funny how different each shot can feel.
Yeah.
It's like my form, I'm trying to be consistent, but man, it can just feel different. Even the way you feel about each shot can be so different.
I will say that I still go back to a hinge sometimes just because how much I like the feeling better. Like a good crisp break. It just
best.
It feels so good.
Yeah.
It's a good feeling, but I'll tell you what, I've fallen in love with the feeling of
it.
I like the button now. It gets back, and you just put it on there.
Of late, but
it's real nice.
What button are you shooting?
I shoot the SX3 from Stan in heavy metal.
Yep.
Same.
And then
that's a good button.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm fiddling right now with some tension releases.
You got a tension release?
Yeah, you weren't there yet. You were running late.
Where?
At Todd's shoot.
Dude, I got there at like 7:20.
No, you didn't. You got there at 8:20.
Sorry, we left at 7:20.
Yeah, we'd already been shooting for 20 minutes when you got there. So I get up. It's like my 5th arrow, and I draw back. And the way I had been drawing back on this post because I couldn't tighten down the peg that holds the actual button in place all the way. I just did not like reefing on it like that. So I was putting my thumb, instead of, if this is your post sticking out from the side, I was putting my thumb more in line with the post like this. And so I'm warming up with my tension release. First 5 arrows are awesome, just money X's, everything. And I'm like, oh, dude, my release is going to feel so good in a minute here when I get done with this. And I get back and I pull and I hit the back wall. And when I hit the back wall, my thumb goes forward. And the way that my tension release works is how you reset it is you push the thumb barrel forward.
Which release is this?
The element. Stan element.
Okay.
So it hits the back wall. I just drew back a little bit, how I would with the button. I get back nice and hard, and it pops that shot off. It hits the back wall.
Oh,
so
no kidding?
Loud. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, yeah, cool. This is how this day is going to go. But I've been shooting that release for a couple weeks now, and there's the moment you get your thumb button back out after shooting your tension release, you just set that. I shoot mine pretty hot because I'm kind of going back. I've talked about it because we've really been primarily in indoor archery during the beginning of this podcast. So I started the indoor season shooting off my front hand only, just get back, keep tension, push towards the target. I really liked the way it was shooting. It just kind of chattered in the middle. Randy called it a jackhammer, and I'm like, that's exactly what's going on. It's just tut, 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 tut. But I thought I was experiencing some, like my flyers were big. Instead of being like just off 9s, they were, 8-9 line 9s. And so I started implementing a little bit more back tension. And then I kind of fell back into just pulling through the release, which really sped up the release. So it made my hot release like almost to where when I get in shoot offs and stuff like that, I'd come into the barrel and sometimes it would just pop the release off because I came in on it a little bit hotter than I normally would, and it would just break the shot off. So I've kind of gotten back into driving towards the target a little bit more, but I'm doing it a little bit more equally. I'd say front heavy, but I'm still using that back tension to hold it up in there, and it's going really good.
I
I
wouldn't mind
forgot where
having
I
a
was going with
resistance
that.
release. I wouldn't mind having one just for like warm up type shit, just to feel a good pop off the back. I mean,
Yeah, I'm definitely not confident enough to pull it out in a shoot off like Taylor Spoolstra is, and just randomly pull out his element and start shooting it in a shoot off.
yeah.
And I mean, he's got that sucker hot though. The moment his thumb comes off the barrel, it's under a
gone.
second
Terrifying.
before it goes off.
Do you know who we're talking about? Taylor Spoolstra?
Yeah,
Yeah?
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been following along with your guys' podcast long enough that
Okay.
I know who he is. Yeah, and then I just started following him the other day on Instagram, and
Okay.
yeah, I'm familiar with who he is.
Yeah, he's freaking unreal right now. He's a buddy of ours. He's been shooting outlaws for a few years with us and stuff. And I just saw he posted up a 30X tonight practicing at Lancaster this week. I'm so fucking pumped for him, man. I hope he kills it.
It's the boot.
Freaking
It's the cowboy boots.
dude, it's so the cowboy boots. God dang it. He said he got those from a guy. The story's really cool and I'll butcher it, but he got them from somebody. I don't know if they passed away or whatever, but like he knew somehow he ended up with these boots and they're way more sentimental than just, he didn't just pick them out,
Right.
There's a backstory there, and he just happened to get these gifted to him. They happen to fit like a glove, and he's worn them ever since. And he's been shooting like a freaking
I was gonna
rock
say,
star.
dude, you gotta stick with him because I mean, not only they, it's like a trademark thing, right?
Dude,
like,
bitch and trademark
for
too.
sure.
Yeah,
That's the first thing because I think I was watching him shoot at.
he podiumed at the Rumble, or he made the shoot off.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what it
Yep.
would have been. And I remember looking at those boots and being like, "Oh, that's a trademark, man."
He truly believes that that having the weight
forward,
Yep.
like up over his heels. Dude,
Mm-hmm.
Kyle Douglas is kind of a friend of mine, an acquaintance, and that guy always shoots in cowboy boots.
Yep. Numerous people have been like, no, dude, boots are pretty legit. And I bought a pair of Ultras like a month ago thinking,
No.
and it's not the shit.
Dude, the soles on those are like this thick and they're just.
Oh, no. The Lone Peaks, the little thin fuckers.
Okay, got you.
I was thinking zero drop, flat feet, solid grounded. That was my thinking. But now I'm going to get some pumps, I guess, and put some heels on.
Mark always told me to the heel. So you're digging your toes in. He told me that. I just do not like the way I feel standing up like that. Like being a little bit higher. During the winter months, I'm usually running, I'm wearing boots all the time. But like I change them before going to league usually because I just don't like shooting in.
I'm going to go back and look at Vegas. I shot a 300 at Vegas one time a couple years ago. And I wore cowboy boots one of the days that year. And if that's the same day, dude, I'm wearing boots from here on out, dude. I have to go back and look at the pictures.
Yeah. Let me ask you guys a question about stance. So my stance it must be fairly narrow because one time I was shooting and I had a guy walk up and he asked me, he's like, you must be a big tree stand hunter. And I was like, why do you say that? And he's like, your feet are pretty close together. And as I walk up and down the line and shoot like Vegas, I'm looking at people's stance and kind of evaluating it. But I'd be curious to see your guys' would you say, because normally everything I've ever read or heard, they're like, shoulder width apart. And I'm like, that doesn't make sense to me at all. Like it's got to be inside your shoulders, I would think, right? You can't be that wide. But what do you guys do? I'm curious.
Hold on. Shoulder width for sure.
Really?
Yeah, I'm like, if you were to, if I, in my head, it's just such a natural thing. I don't think about it a whole lot, but if I was to straddle the line, it would be shoulder width apart. My target side foot would be a half a step back. And then my other foot would match the angle that half step back would end up being on. So I would be facing, if the target's here and I'm facing like say 3 o'clock, I'm gonna be facing like 2:00. My toes will be pointing towards 2:00.
Right, like slightly open,
Mm-hmm.
but shoulder width apart.
Yeah, you're narrower than that.
Yeah, for sure. And you know what's weird is like I've tried it a bunch of times because it's ever since that guy said that to me, I was like, yeah, maybe I do need to widen my base, and get a little bit more underneath me. But I've tried it and I just don't. I
I mean, if
feel
you feel stable, it's on. You can only get so stable.
yeah.
Standing.
It's just archery is one of those things where it's kind of a mind f, right? Where you're always like,
Oh, yeah.
what if I tried that? But I was
Like, it's just
curious.
my feet were wrong the whole time.
Yeah.
Quick question for you, Elliot. The year you shot the 300,
Mm-hmm.
the day you shot the 300, did you take a family photo in front of the Vegas sign with the Vegas shoot?
I was wearing my Bowtech jersey the day I did it. It was day 2. That's all I really remember.
Did you only wear your Bowtech jersey day 2?
I believe so.
Okay, so you were not wearing cowboy boots then.
Okay. I have a picture with Waco and I'm wearing boots, but I don't know what.
Well, the day that you're wearing your Bowtech jersey, you're wearing blue shoes with matching soles as your bow was
yellow.
back then.
Yeah, those are some Saucony Peregrine trail shoes. Yeah, that is probably exactly what I wore when I shot the 300. Actually, I love those. Those are actually a great freaking shoe.
Some Sauconys.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what I'll do then.
Here's the 300
zero drop
day
thing's
here.
not doing it for me.
Of course, the
like
photo
Alan
you post.
What?
Oh, I was gonna say, of course, the photo you post of the day you shoot the 300, it's from your knees up.
Well, yeah, nobody gives a shit about really anything but the target.
Well, I want to know what you're wearing.
Oh
man,
he's wearing jorts.
Find a better. Yeah. That's what
That
I
was
should do, to be honest. Like, take the pressure off. Like, you remember the movie Tin Cup?
Yeah.
Remember he has him like put the change in the other pocket, turn your hat fucking sideways, and look like a dickhead, and you won't be thinking about. Maybe that's the move.
I thought that's what you were going for this last week with that 80s get up. Yeah.
That didn't work either.
Didn't?
No, hell no. It fucked me all up.
I thought tonight, I was like, I wonder if I got a wig somewhere around. He'd probably get a kick out of that if we jumped on here and had a nice blonde
let's
wig.
get a wig thing going at Vegas, man.
Some eyeliner if I stole your look.
That was a good year for you, Elliot. That was the year. That was the season before was when you won Reading. You won the Bay Area Open that year. You won Todd's shoot for the first Memorial shoot. That was a good year. I remember
that was the best year I've ever had.
That was
chasing it ever since. That was a couple years ago. That was 4 years ago.
I just got to enjoy it from the sidelines. That was a lot of fun. That was a good year.
That was. You got to come up and shoot Reading, man.
Yeah, I do.
Oh yeah. Wherever.
I was going to say, going back to the stance thing,
Mm-hmm.
mine's pretty narrow. Mine's pretty small.
Really?
Yeah, it's pretty small.
Maybe got big feet though. There's still a lot of surface area.
Yeah, I run. It's what I tell all my students. Stance is super personal. You gotta figure out what works for you. But mine's definitely open. So, my heels are probably. I can't do the test like Elliot did, but
Because you're not wearing pants.
That was offline only. Anyways,
you do this often?
No, this is the
How
first.
I talk to you and you're not wearing freaking pants, dude.
It's warm in here, man. I was like, I don't think I need these.
Balls were hot.
Yeah.
Yeah, my balls was hot. Yeah, no, I run a pretty small stance, pretty tight, but I have a counterbalance. I have a big belly, so I lean into it a little bit. No, but stance is super personal. What I have done this year is work on my stance a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I feel like I'm shooting really well and I'm just not catching X's, and I'll make my stance just a little bit wider. I won't change the direction. I like my front foot being offset behind my back foot.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll widen it by a few inches just to kind of firm up that base. And it only works for a few shots, and then I
Mm.
got to go back to my old my standard
Usual,
stance because I
yeah.
start
Interesting.
feeling off.
Mhm.
And so like shoot offs, you might see me check my stance once or twice, change it, and then the next round I'm back to normal, and then maybe the third arrow I'm change my stance, and it's just because I'm not feeling
Mhm.
um like firm and planted. I'm feeling like a little sway and stuff like that. And
Yep.
it's part of it's definitely just the pressure or whatever you're experiencing at that time. But um I've tried it in practice this year trying to figure out what is helping me under the pressure. And for
Mhm.
me, the thing that I found when I'm experiencing that the most, regardless of what my stance is making trying to get
Xanax.
my back, yeah, that too. um trying to get my back elbow but more parallel, because I've historically shot with kind of a cockeyed elbow
Mhm.
sticking out a little bit sideways. I've shot the last 2 years an inch and a half short of my draw length,
Mm.
and so now I'm only a half inch short, and so I'm able to get a little bit more in line. And so one of the things that I do in a shoot off is I'll get back to anchor and I'll check my, you'll see it, I get comfortable, and then suddenly I rotate that elbow back, and it kind of locks me in a little bit better than whatever I can do with my stance.
Gotcha.
I,
Um,
I'll move my elbow back on that ultra view hinge, and when I open that and I try to put it behind my head, that's what brings me to my click.
Mhm.
I've been using that lately, and it feels
Yeah.
all right.
Let me
Just
run
as
another
another
one. I
hit
was
me.
gonna say, let me run one more by you.
Yeah.
Since you brought up draw length. So my hunting bow, this Arc 34, I've been shooting. It's probably 30 and a quarter draw, and there's times when I'm shooting just like a level target where I feel like It feels like it's too short, I would say.
Mhm.
And then today I went up and shot for probably an hour, hour and a half, and I was noticing just like taking mental notes. So if I'm shooting uphill, like I felt super steady.
yeah,
I mean,
that's pretty common,
hey,
Yeah.
at least for most of us.
yeah,
I prefer shooting uphill over downhill.
you're right.
Big time.
Yeah, but
But
is that telling me that, in your opinion, is that telling the my draw length if I'm going to shoot 20-yard indoor on a flat surface needs to be a little bit longer? Is
you
that
could try
short?
that.
Is the way that it's holding when I'm shooting uphill? Is that kind of a culmination of it being a little bit short for me?
I think so.
That's what I would
I
say.
I told Mark Rubio a couple years ago that I threw a bow together or no, I'd gotten a bow and it came a half inch longer than I normally have it, and I was like, man, it's shooting really good. I'm shooting indoors like really well with it this way. And he goes, yeah, but just wait till you go outdoors and you try to shoot uphill.
Mhm.
And he's right. Like on flat ground, you can be all extended, but then some about your form kind of, I think it just shortens up somehow on angles, and then that's when a longish it's gonna feel hard to stay expanded. So
Mhm.
if you're short when it's flat, you're probably I
Yeah.
don't know. It
I was just curious. So one of the things I was going to do, because I got my target bow and then the hunting bow set up the same draw length, but I thought, you know what, I'm going to lengthen out my target bow and just see what it feels like on a 20-yard indoor, and see if it feels like I've got a little bit more alignment, like you're saying, where I've got my
Mhm.
elbow kind of a bit more, and I can actually pull through that a little bit better. It just kind of steadies me up. So that was just like an
look
observation I made today.
Yeah.
look before you do it, shoot a couple arrows or half a round or whatever, and try to gauge or give your pin a score of steadiness, like
Hmm.
how much is it leaving the 10 type of thing, or
Hmm.
just how fast, you know what I mean?
Yep.
Because that's something you'll probably notice is it's going to slow down
Yep.
probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can do that too. You can find it a little bit more. I really did not think about much about draw length, and really at almost at all until because I don't work in the bow shop. I do the lessons and
Hmm.
everything, but I still work in the bow shop when Mike and the guys need me. I come in and I do, I'll work in there as necessary. And the rule of thumb is I'd rather have you shoot 2 inches short than a half an inch long.
Mm-hmm.
So I never was under the impression that draw length could affect my pin movement and things like that of, radical amounts.
Mm-hmm.
And I only went down an inch and a half because I was kind of forced into it when I first got the bow. Just because that's what came with it. And my scores went drastically up for indoor when I shot short, 2 seasons ago. And so I was like, cool, I'm just going to run this. This is working. So
Mm-hmm.
I brought it outdoor for the last 2 seasons. I shot great. No question about it. But when we talked to Domagoy
Mm-hmm.
about draw length and dynamic draw length and how your body is interacting with your bow at full draw, I started tinkering with that a lot. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
to the point where I'm changing, because the Matthews, it's the only thing about the Matthews system that I'm not sold on. And it's not that I'm not sold on it. It's just the mod system.
Sure.
I would really like to be able to do 1/4 inch
Mm-hmm.
increments and things like that. However, it being so precise, the way that the Matthews mod system works, it's a give and take, right?
Mm-hmm.
But so to the point where I'm getting different grips to change by, an
Same.
1/8 of an inch or, 3/16 of an inch here or there,
Yep.
different pitches, all that, just to fiddle with my draw length. And what I found was super helpful was actually just shooting with the weights off on my bars.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the bars that I run have 3 ounces of tungsten built into them at the tip. So I'm not shooting with nothing, but it might as well be nothing with the amount of weight that I typically run.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, I'm running like 27 ounces right now.
Yikes.
Fuck.
Couldn't even
but-
afford that. That's a lot of damn money.
It just, it holds, and it, it's very, very forgiving. But, what I found was by gauging what is going on with the bow when I have no weight on there and the bow's just reacting to your draw length, it helped me determine, okay, this is right, this is wrong. And so, like Elliot was saying with scoring your pin, if your pin is erratically moving and then jumping out of the area and then coming back, it's probably too short. If it's nice and slow, but big movements that you can't get back quickly, it's probably too long. And going longer indoors is a pretty common thing. I think Mark was the one that told me, I usually lengthen my draw about a half an inch for indoor. It's
I've
pretty
never
common.
changed it before, but the other day I took a picture just because I wanted to, just a form check type of thing, video, a couple shots, and I zoomed in. I went, holy shit, what the hell? My arrow, like where it stops, the back of the carbon is always sat like right below the corner of my mouth. And this was like it seemed a bit forward by like maybe a half inch or so. And I'm like, that looks short. Like if I was somebody else, I'd say you need to lengthen your draw length. And it was spec because anytime I shoot a decent score, I write all that shit down just so I can go back to it and be like, at least this, I know this works, and I lengthened that thing over a half inch and I'm shooting it now that way. And I feel like I could almost even go more. Granted, this is just like indoors or whatever, but it doesn't feel bad. Going long for indoors has always felt kind of good, but I just have years and years of notes that it always brings me out of that, at least for when outdoors shows up,
Yeah. That's on my to-do list. That's what I was going to do tomorrow is lengthen out just a smidge and just see how it feels.
Did I remember to put any dot stickers in that package when I said, fuck,
nope, you're good. So I shot you a DM and said, what do you shoot for dots? And you kind of gave me a rundown on what you did, but I just ordered a whole dot kit, so it'll be here.
Okay.
I'll get it all set up. And
I cut my own now with that little Cricut sticker maker thing that my wife uses, and it's freaking handy for that shit. But I meant to throw some in there.
Just vinyl? Like a vinyl?
It's just like Oracle 651 or something like that. Just sticker material, like a die cut sticker.
Black?
Like black for the dots. But for the hoops, they have a neon green. There's orange, there's yellow, and there's neon green. I typically run the neon green.
Gotcha.
And that way the light it reflects off the some lights it won't work on like all sticker colors. It doesn't work. It has to be one of those like I don't know
Mhm.
what the word is for it, but there's a couple of neon colors that it pops.
Did you
Fluorescent.
say you shoot green, like a green open circle?
hmm
Okay, got you. Green doesn't
That's
wash out for you on a yellow target,
I,
or you're
I
looking
don't.
through it.
I rarely don't. So I don't turn the light on.
Mhm.
I just I will if I need to. It's kind of a in case of emergency type of thing or shitty lighting or whatever. But it really it looks like a black ring. I can't
Gotcha.
see the color of it actually. I don't know if it's the shades in the scope or whatever, but I don't really see the color at all. It just looks like a kind of a fuzzy black ring around the 10.
Mhm.
And that's all I was trying to do. I might go back to a dot this week just to try because I was doing okay with it. But I typically like for outdoors, I shoot a hoop and just put the orange safari dot right in the middle and let her eat. But I'm
Mhm.
trying to be a little bit more precise. The safari, all I have to do is clip the damn orange and I'm good. I'm trying to hit X's in this game.
Right.
So
Were you
I'm
running a hoop for Todd shoot?
I was.
Oh, I didn't
I
even
was.
notice.
And I shot I shot a nice 450 last week with it, and I was like, okay, I'll just shoot a hoop my whole life. Fuck it. Um, but it's never really worked in the past. But last week it worked really good. I had some really good games, and then I went to Todd's and it didn't transpire. So I don't know. I'm gonna keep tinkering.
Yeah.
But
I was trying to decide if I stayed with the pin because I know last year when I shot Vegas, I shot a fluorescent green pin and it just felt like it disappeared for me, like on a yellow target.
yeah,
And that light.
Very common.
Yeah. And I was trying to
Yeah.
figure what color to go to. I was half thinking maybe I'd go to blue, but if I stayed with the pin.
Red.
yeah.
Red?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Red for field, red for indoor. Blue's good too. Blue's
Yeah.
good too.
Mhm.
Yeah, those are the ones that are gonna show up the best on the yellow. Yeah, the red's kind of good, especially if you're gonna do like field, because
Mhm.
between the black face and
Yep.
the white dot, it shows up the same. So red, when I tried it last year, was just it was too aggressive for me.
Mhm.
I felt like I got blurry vision halfway through, just from the amount of, those targets are designed to fatigue your eyes already.
Mhm.
And so I just felt like I was struggling to, see properly halfway
Mhm.
through. That's just me personally, but it's definitely something when I didn't do it this year because I had my setup dialed and I didn't want to fiddle with anything. I really like running a yellow sticker on top of a black sticker.
Mhm.
So that way, if the target's dark, the yellow shows up. And if where I'm standing's bright, the black shows up, and vice versa. I'm always able to see my aiming reference on the target, whether it's green or yellowish and,
Mhm.
or black.
Gotcha.
But for field this year, I think I'm going to try the red because we shot it this year at Nevada City, which is our, pretty much home course for us up here. And there's a lot of dark stuff, and there's a lot of places where I'm standing in the bright sun and the target's just covered in shade, and I
Mhm.
couldn't even make out, my dot, just
Yeah.
because even though I got the light on it, it's not making a difference. I'm just getting blasted and so on and so forth. So I am very interested in running that
And
for field.
You know what? I just thought of. I have an 8 power lens that I had been running most of the year. I just went to a 7, and it's so much more clear. You wouldn't think that little difference, but it makes a difference. But what I was gonna say is, if you find, you might maybe even at a craft store in town, you might be able to find that lime green oracle
Mhm.
shit that
Yeah.
the black light will reflect off of.
Mhm.
What I did was I cut a square just with scissors.
Yeah.
Just make it a square, and you can't really tell that it's not round, but
Sure.
putting that on there instead of a black dot,
Mhm.
it'll look like a black dot anyway.
Yeah.
But if you get to a point where you've got a big ass black punched hole in that target on the eighth end or something like that, sometimes you'll lose that in that
Mhm.
black hole. And at that point, you can flip that light on, and all of a sudden, boom, there it's green.
Gotcha.
And it'll get you through the last couple ends or something like that.
Gotcha.
Uh,
You
I
guys
always set up my dot size to be the size of the 10.
10. Yeah.
So that way I'm covering up
that.
my holes.
oh, that's terrifying.
Well, I
hate
tried it.
covering
I
shit
tried it.
up.
I tried it Mark's way, where he for until this year he usually runs it to where he covers up the whole yellow and there's a sliver
Nope.
of yellow peeking
That's
out.
insane.
And I started over aiming because I'm trying to keep it perfectly
Yeah, that'd be
inside that
tough.
little bit of yellow, and it
Mhm.
just didn't work for me. So I went back to, I want my dot just basically to cover up the 10, and if I can do that, it's fine. And I can't see the arrow holes anyways at that point, so
Dude,
I'm not
my
falling into one.
dots are the size of arrow holes. Like I could look through the lens and go, I would like to put a stamp right there. That's exactly how it sizes up for me. But it's like it makes the 10 seem really big when you have a little sticker. Granted, you see a shit ton of movement, but it's
Yeah.
like, shit, I got this whole 10. All I got to do is stuff an arrow right in that 10 and I'll be good.
Huh.
It kind of calms me down mentally, but
Hmm.
only for a little bit.
Yeah, I've always shot bigger. So like I hunt with like a 19 pen, and when
Yeah.
I always get quote people will reach out and send me a question. Hey, I want a 10 pen for my further range, and I always kind of went with the notion that I liked the feeling of a larger pen because it just covered up more. I just
Mhm.
felt more relaxed. It just felt like I felt more at ease. Like I couldn't aim maybe as precisely, but I felt like my anxiety was way less because it was just like I'm just going to cover up that whole area with the dot and let her rip. So maybe
See,
maybe a bigger dot would work for me in my mental condition.
try it. Try
Yeah,
freaking all of it, man.
I
Find
might
somebody
have
with a
to.
sticker maker and have them do 10,000 increments.
Yeah, I might have
Indoors,
to.
the only thing that I try and cover up the 10. Outdoors, my dot is smaller for
Mm.
outdoors than it is for indoors.
Right.
But like a perfect example was my second end against Paige. I shot XX10, and those X's were not solid. There's sketchy X's. And the second end, I proceeded to put all 3 of my arrows in the exact same arrow holes, except for one of them was a 10 and not the X. Like
Gotcha.
because I was staring through my pin onto that target, and I was just like, well, I can just hold it right there, right in that other hole just fine. And so yeah, I just literally I was so bummed out. I wasn't actually bummed out, but it's like literally the exact same arrow holes, like not even, and I couldn't pull my pin off those spots. So
It's weird how your shit gets sucked into holes.
yeah.
I don't know how that works, but it's a real thing.
I was giggling when he said sketchy X's. I was like,
Sketchy X's.
Everybody's got some of those.
Everyone's got sketchy X's.
We gotta name something that. That's good.
Yeah.
The name of this
Sketchy X's.
podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sketchy X's. Here's
Oh,
one.
man.
I want to ask you guys one that I asked Paige. So I have eye trouble. So I have astigmatism, right? So my right eye, which I shoot right-handed, but my right eye is my worst eye. So my left eye is better at distance. And so for me, kind of commonly preached is that you should stare a hole in your impact point, like where you want your arrow to impact, right? I can't really see my intended impact point. I don't see it very well at all. Like I can kind of just make out the color, the yellow down there. So I definitely can't see any details. But I've tried it where I stare at my impact point, but what'll happen is I'll break a really nice clean shot and it'll be like, 2 or 3 inches to the right, because that's where my pen was when it went off, because I wasn't really paying attention to it because it's so blurry. So like I can't look at the target and keep track of the pin because it blurs out so much. So I have to kind of watch the pin. And when I do that, it feels like I'm a little bit more anxious because I have more perceived movement, right? What do you guys do? Do you stare a hole at your intended point of impact, or do you watch your pen?
I watch my pin more than I probably should. I've tried that whole thing, but I just I get that contrast is too bouncing back and forth for me. Where I would rather kind of look at the pin and just I get less anxiety seeing the target less a little bit. You know what I mean? And less focused on it.
Interesting.
So yeah, I definitely am not one of those that like burns a hole through the target and just my eyes will send an arrow right where I'm looking type of thing.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But some people are that way.
Yeah. The thought process is basically if your focus is on your pin back here, when you start moving off this way, you're watching your pin. There's no focus over here. I should do it like this. If my pin's here and I'm watching this and this is what I want to hit and I'm going over it like this, and then I'm watching my pin. When I start going like this, there's no focus to bring it back to this is where I need to go. This is where I need to go. So the thought is if I'm staring here, I'm going to always bring
the pin
my
back.
pin
No, it
back
makes
to
sense.
middle.
It makes
And
sense.
so for me, when I was running a clear target, which was with the 6 power, I'd try and focus on, and Mark said something that I started trying to do was when I'm at full draw and I'm aiming, I try and find an arrow hole or some diminished point in the towards the middle of that target and start aiming at it and try and focus on it. I run an 8 power now, so my target's blurry. But when I put my dot on the target, because the target's blurry and I'm not running a clarifier that cleans up the target, now my dot's crystal clear and I don't have to focus on cleaning up that pin. It's crystal clear with that dot. So everything's fuzzy and this nice perfectly circled black dot comes and starts floating around inside that orange or white and black for field. And so indoors the only place where I see myself struggle with watching my dot. And the way I know that I'm watching my dot and I'm not watching the target is when I look at the target, even though it's blurry, I can still make out the X and the 10 around it. But if I'm looking at my dot, I can't see the X or I can't see the 10 line at all. It's not clean. It's not like crystal clear. But if I'm looking at the target and not looking at my dot, I can see that there's a 10 ring there. I know what it looks like to cover that up, so on and so forth. So I can make that assessment. But indoors where I struggle with watching my dot. And I definitely notice I have harder times bringing it back, and I'll
What do you
notice
do?
it like, me?
Oh no, I'm curious. Like he asked the question, but like, how do you do it? Are you
Oh,
looking at
me?
the target? Looking at the pin? Yeah.
So I catch myself watching the pin. So I guess consciously, the thing that I've been told is that, you burn a hole at your intended impact point, right? And I would come to full draw, which is good. And I would anchor in, but I would lose my pin because I just can't see that pin. It just like washes out too much. And I would break clean shots and it would hit, inches right or left. And it was just where my pin was when it broke because I just can't quite center it. Or I just wasn't aware of it. But so now I've gone back to where I probably watch my pin more than I do my intended impact point, and I just try to let that float. I try to first and foremost draw my bow and get to intended aiming point, right? So I'm not like floating all around. And then I end up watching the pin a lot because I can see the pin, right? I can't see both. Like I can't see the target and the pin. I have to like let one go. And I think over time I found that I'm gonna have to just watch the pin more than I would like to. I think it's just maybe the way I'm gonna have to do it. I don't know.
Are you running a clarifier?
Nope, not a
No.
clarifier. I probably should look into it and see. But
You might to enjoy that 6 a little more.
I was just about to ask
Maybe.
you what you sent him. Yeah, so 6. It sounds like to me that you might even need a verifier. If you want to clean up your pin and have that be the thing that stands out and you don't have to focus on it for it to stay clear, you're probably going to want a verifier.
Yeah.
However, I think if you were to try maybe specifically on your target bow, running a dot instead of a pin, where you can make that dot crystal clear with clarifiers and verifiers. That way, when you put it over whatever you're aimed at, whether it's a safari dot, an indoor face, if the face is yellow and fuzzy, I find comfort in the fact of that, it's inside this fuzzy orange. If it breaks 3 o'clock, it's going to be in there. Whereas before, when I would float out towards the edges, I'd get a little bit more like, no, stay in there and try and
Yeah, it's
overwork
kind of
it.
like ignorance is bliss when you can't see it as well.
Yeah.
I don't mind it being blurry all the time either.
I would try for your target setup, maybe try running, a clean cut dot and try the verifier and try the clarifier and see which one allows you to focus on the target. That way you can always be trying to return to center, but you're not having to fight your eye to keep the pin or the dot clear. Otherwise, if you're running a pin, you might want to try the verifier thing to keep that pin nice and clear.
GOHUNT's doing an archery shop now, yeah?
Yeah, full tilt.
Dude, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's been doing really good, actually.
Good?
Yeah.
Are you heading up a lot of that?
No.
Oh, really?
No, I mean, I live in Cedar City and I'm down there 1 day a week, but we have a guy named Cody Frick. He was at Shields. He was a bow tech at Shields in Denver for I want to say 6 years, but he came on. So he's doing the buying and then doing a lot of the technician stuff. So yeah, it's been good.
Peeps and clarifiers and that kind of shit? Do you have like the Hamsky kit there?
No, it's
I was gonna say you need to start messing around in the shop.
Yeah, for sure. No, it's mostly bow hunter driven, so
yeah, of course.
Yeah, a lot of bow hunter stuff. You gonna buy that new what is it, specialty peep? Is that the one with the verifier and the clarifier combo that you can like tinker back and forth?
So I just listened to Wendell's podcast today and they mentioned that thing and that whole kit was like $450.
Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's
expensive. It really, John?
Yeah, it's like $400 for the kit. Yeah. It's expensive. But
so no,
I wasn't gonna say anything because we got that information firsthand, a little bit beforehand. But I was gonna say to Trail here that might be a good kit for you, specifically trying to figure out your eye situation. I was going to tell you offline. I actually took a note to be like, hey, there's this new kit coming out that you're going to be able
more
to
than
put.
Your sight.
Yeah, exactly.
Dude, that's chicken shit.
That's
ridiculous.
A lot of money for peeps.
For what you're getting for a choking hazard little part, like, ugh.
I wish there was some way to, because you go to like a trade show or something, they've got the little displays and you hold them up and you're trying to gauge it, but it never really feels like it quite captures it the way it is going to, in your bow.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wish there was some way. I don't know. You'd think AI could figure that out. Some way to know what would work for you, so you didn't have to buy all the different combinations.
No, all you need to do, man, you need to come out to Wilderness Archery. We got them. we have them all sitting there. Make the drive. Come on out. I'll spend a day with you. We will swap them in and out until you get it figured out. We literally have, obviously some shops don't have the everything, right? But if you find a shop that has everything,
Vegas should have the setup. You should be able
hopefully you can find
stuff.
someone that'll let you fiddle with it and actually try it. Because we just had a customer in there. He used to take private lessons from me yesterday, and he's going from a 4 to a 6. And same thing, he's got older gentleman, and I'm like, hey, let's take the A+. You go out into the lanes, you shoot it a couple times, you tell me if it looks good, and then we'll try the B, and if that's better, then
they have one of those cards, right? That's like it's got them all, and you just hold one up, up and down over your eye.
I think that's what he's talking about. Is that?
Yeah,
I've seen that, right?
Yeah, I've been to shows before and I've tinkered with it, but it's just never like.
I feel like if you had your sight in your hand and you held the sight out with that 6 power in it, you'd have to.
Yeah,
it'd probably get you close.
The thing that I think stands out and what he's probably not experiencing is the apertures that are in those are not the apertures that you're running in your sight. And the aperture is going to change the way that you are looking through that glass. And so if I can have you in the shop with me, I'll let you try the A+, the A-, the B, etc. And you can go out in our lanes, try it. I'm not saying actually come out. I'm just saying
I might
someone
take you up on it.
You're always more than welcome.
You come out to California for anything?
Man.
Redding.
Yeah, come out.
Yeah, Redding. I could come out to Redding.
Have GOHUNT put a booth at Redding, and
I've tried to talk him into it. I'm like, I think this makes good sense. You get to talk to
bring Paul and just post up, man. That'd be a blast.
Yeah, I agree.
One of the funnest things we do after shooting all day is we go and we're tired, but me and Elliot will spend 2-3 hours.
Grab a beer and walk around the booths and shit.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
such a good
Walking
shoot.
around, talking to people, learning about stuff that, you know, I may never run, but, you know, I just want to know what that is and why you made it, you know, kind of thing.
Sure.
It's a really cool event. It's my favorite. You know, I'm biased, but I'm also open about that. I think it's the best event out there.
What's the date?
It's this year. It is going to be the first weekend of May, which I believe is 1, 2, and 3.
Okay.
Let me double check.
Right about that.
I'm gonna try to keep my my schedule up.
It's gonna be
make a road trip.
So
Dude,
it'll
that'd be
open
cool.
up. It'll open up Thursday. So we'll have the blind draw and the practice course Thursday, and then
Mhm.
Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It's May 1st, 2nd, and 3rd.
Okay.
It's awesome. It's
Yeah,
awesome. Definitely make it out.
Everybody I've ever talked to loved it. I mean, it's
Yeah.
for me that's like a bucket list shoot, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that's one I gotta
For
do.
sure.
I'm gonna be
Yeah.
pissed if I don't ever get to do that. So
Oh no,
There's-
you gotta do it.
2 years ago, there was a guy that I got a picture with. So my last name's obviously Scar,
Mhm.
and I'm sitting down and I look over and this guy is wearing a Matthews jersey and he's got Scar. Mine's SKARR and his is SCARR. And I just walk up and I'm wearing my team jersey and I just stand next to him because he's sitting at the Western Classic booth looking at shirts, and I just walk up and stand up right next to him, and I think I had Caleb. I was like, take a photo real quick, you're gonna have to be quick with this. And I just went up and stood right next to him like this. Instantly he goes and he looks over at me and he's like, he's from Australia.
Oh.
And he goes, you got a problem, mate? And I was like, no, actually, you know, now that you're, you know, Scar, you know, and super cool guy. You're going to meet it. And it was the same thing for him. He's like, this was a bucket list.
Mm-hmm.
And so I said, I'm going to do it. And he flew all the way out from Australia. So
crazy.
and you're going to get, especially, I know of a couple of people that we're close with that are going to be doing the Modern Bow Hunter Championship this year.
Okay.
So that'll be, I don't want to throw him under the bus, but I'll do it anyways. Kevin Wilkie and Dan Bertacchini are going to be.
Are they really?
They're going to team. They had already planned on doing Reading together, but they're going to do. It sounds like they're going to do the Modern Bow Hunter class.
Damn, dude, that's going to be that's going to be fun, man. That's going to make me want to go back to pins.
Wilkie set my first bow up I ever bought. So I bought I bought a Matthews Q2 in 2001, and Wilkie, at Payson Archery, and Wilkie was Wilkie was the tech that set it up. So I've known Wilkie for a long time.
Oh, right.
Yeah, he's a cool guy. He's a cool
good
guy.
Dude.
I don't have a lot of, you know, one-on-one stories like people do, but I've talked to him at Reading and stuff before, and he's just super friendly.
Yep.
Super outgoing and stuff. It's just, I don't know. Maybe it's just we're blessed by being into archery and that everyone is just like,
pretty damn cool.
99.9% of the people that are doing this, you can walk up to them and talk to them. You know, there's only a handful of people that aren't approachable.
Yeah.
And
there's a few.
You're one of them.
We
gotta wrap this up, dude. This is late for Trail.
So let's wrap it up with you never told me the Vegas story.
That was the Vegas story with the arrows and shit up his back while he's in full draw.
Well, I didn't know we were talking about it.
Yeah, I was just, dude, when I heard that, I was like, I would have fucking lost my shit. Like, you know, first time just getting rattled like that at full draw. No way.
So last night at League, you know Bruce from the lanes, Big Bruce.
Yeah.
Big Bruce. He's shooting. nice guy. And he's stepping off the lanes, and he's shooting a target setup, and he's stepping off the lanes like this.
Oh, yeah?
Full bar swing to the right, and luckily I wasn't shooting, but I was coming off the line, and he clips me right in the elbow, and I just turn and I look, and he doesn't even notice, and I was just like, I'm just going to leave it be. I had to holler at him last year because he kept bumping into me. So, like, he bumped into me, and I was...
Lanes are tight, man.
Not at our shop. They are not
No,
tied.
not at all. I just mean, but like
Just in general.
indoor archery
Yeah.
in general, dude. Like if I ever hit it big, I'm gonna make a fucking hangar, and there's gonna be so much room you could swing dance in there and not knock over a single bow. That's my dream.
My
You're not
buddy
even gonna have to do that, you know.
my
But
buddy
anyways,
Neville and
we'll
I
move
that
on.
shot together. We were both just we were talking about it before we got there. We were both just praying like, God, please do not have like a left-hander like right. in
Oh
front of
yeah,
us.
just
Please,
looking you right in the eye.
anything but that, man. Just face to face. No bueno.
Yeah, our buddy Alejandro's left-handed. I've had some shoot-offs where him and I are stand on the line and we'll get to aim and then look at each other square in the eye and rip one off and see who hits best.
Yeah, I had to shoot off against him at Fresno, and he gave me a kiss beforehand. He leaned in and gave me a peck on the cheek.
I'll get in your head.
Yeah.
He did win that shoot off, but
Oh, see?
it wasn't by much. Nothing I could have done about that. I just misjudged it because I had to shoot it for the teams first before the individual. And
now you just got kissed is what happened.
no, I
Rattled
threw
you.
a whole bunch of clicks in my sight because I
do
missed
that.
super far right on my I made a really great shot for the team shoot and right in the middle, and it missed like 3 inches right. So I
Nice.
grabbed like a
Good move.
pile of clicks, and it did not.
One pile is equivalent to 3 inches, I think.
Yeah. Grabbed a pile of clicks, and then for whatever the reason, the wind decided I'm not going to continue at this exact pace. So, anywho, thanks for coming on, man. It was a blast.
dude.
Yeah,
sorry I
so-
had to step away so many times. These dogs tonight, man. I'm sorry.
No,
I'm
you're
glad
good, man. My dog's laying just right on the other side of my desk, chewing a bone right now. So.
I should
I get
have
it.
just let them come and hang out with me. It would have not been an issue.
Then the last one you did, they were sitting there talking to Paige or Tate or whoever, and this dog head just comes up, starts licking your chin, and then it fucking goes away. I don't know if anybody even caught it.
Oh man, she was sitting at the door, so I had to let her in.
Yeah.
She literally was. I had the door cracked, and I looked over one time, and she's just through the crack. She's peeking in, like, "Am I allowed in here right now? It seems like you're
I see
busy."
your pants are off. Should I come in or?
Oh man.
No, I
Anyways.
appreciate you having me on. I was telling Elliot, so I'll tell you, keep doing the podcast. Like keep at it.
Thank you, man.
Because
Thank you, man.
there's like I'm not competitive at all as far as like archery goes, right? Like but I love watching it. I love consuming it. I love
Yeah.
the tinkering and I love hearing guys talk the technical side of it. And there's not a ton of it out there, so keep doing it. Like
Appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Yeah, keep at it, because there's definitely people like myself that are like, I'm interested in it, primarily a bow hunter, but by damn, if I can be a better bow hunter by working target archery and dealing with nerves and aim and the whole thing, like I'm gonna do it. And there's people like me, and I'm trying to get more people like me into the system. And as we get more of us that are just bow hunters into this type of stuff, your content's going to become that much more important because it takes it to that next level, that next step. So keep doing it.
Yeah,
Appreciate it, man. Will do. Thank you.
It's we're just two guys that enjoy getting out there and doing it.
Sure.
And
we've just been blessed to have good guests is really all it is. Which helps.
It helps.
I mean,
Sure.
I'm blessed by, when I asked Elliot if he would be my co-host, having such a great co-host, someone that I'm not quick-witted
You already got
at
the
all.
job. Knock it off.
I'm not quick-witted, but Elliot is, and so it's there's never a dull conversation when you're talking with someone like Elliot. So I could sit here and talk to the guy all night long.
For sure. Well, keep
Sometimes
at it.
I have a voicemail from him. I'll turn it on, listen to it as I go to bed.
when you get lonely.
Anyways, we really appreciate you coming on.
Yeah.
You guys, this episode is brought to you also by Wilderness Archery and our very own Flingham Nation Bowstrings.
First podcast with the new sponsor.
Yeah,
Nice.
We're really excited. Nick Ingham's
Ingham.
an awesome guy. I shoot his strings. I love them. And just for this podcast, I went in last night, tested my weight on my bow. it is still exactly 56.4 pounds. That's what I set it at the beginning of indoor season when I did my tiller tune. It has not dropped even 0.1 pounds with
Nice.
I don't know how many arrows I've flung during indoor season. I'm shooting 452X, just your basic bland, what are those ducks called? The ones that
lame female, anything
yeah.
female,
Oh yeah,
uncolorful.
hen
Yeah,
ducks. Yeah. Just
yeah,
shooting
just
super lame.
no dominance
452
established.
no dominance established. But I've been nothing but impressed. I started shooting his strings the beginning of outdoor last 2025. I ran his strings all year long. Same thing. I typically run about a quarter turn out of my top cam or my top limb. And so it's about 59 and a half. And same thing. No poundage movement. I've had no issues. I talked to Nick about what knock I was running before I ordered from him. And he built the strings to that knock specification. So I have the perfect knock fit, all that. Go check them out. Highly recommend them. Quality over quantity, you guys. So
Thanks, Nick.
thank you, Nick,
Appreciate
for
it, buddy.
trusting us with your name and everything. And we look forward to many more episodes and many more awesome guests like Trail here. Once again, thanks for coming on, man.
Yeah.
And we'll let you catch some.
If you had
some
any
sleep.
questions and stuff, obviously we'll chat more. But going forward, reach out, man. If
For sure.
Anytime.
whatever you need to if we can help, and we'll see you in Vegas if nothing else.
Yeah, and then I'll.
And before I leave,
getting ready.
It's
Yeah.
Trail
Yes.
Kreitzer, guys.
Man, you got it.
Kreitzer.
There's the
There we
R.
go.
You got it, dude. That's all I do is answer. If I go through a drive-through, they're like, I always give them. So my first name's actually Clint, but I always give them that Clint because if you tell them Trail, they're always like, "Oh, there's got to be a story there," and then it ends up like being a 15-minute conversation where I get to explain to them why my name is Trail. So, yeah, name,
Oh, that's funny.
name like Trail. You're always going to be talking about it.
Yeah.
No, I love it. It's cool.
Yep.
Awesome,
Thanks,
you guys. Thanks for tuning
All right,
in.
buddy.